Because you've got powerful legs. How did you get the physique? Was it gym or how did you get the physique?
I've always been...
She's actually not got powerful legs. Do you shower in your dressing room? Do you have a shower on the day of a fight or not? Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
I'm sure no one will mind.
Move him out of here, Darren.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual
I never said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing nutters messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump, you know what I'm saying?
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the 570th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. I'm your host, Steve Wellings, and joining us on the call we have Andy Patterson and Matty DiGialinardo. Going live on YouTube from 8 o'clock every Sunday evening. The ad-free Patreon RSS feed updates shortly after the show concludes. Hello to everyone listening through the week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Sports Social. Don't forget to leave a review on the podcast player of your choice throughout the entire month of April. I've got written here. Better change that to May. Nothing less than 5 stars is acceptable. We are expecting a 5-star performance next weekend from the main man himself, Saul Canelo Alvarez. He's going in against Jaime Munguia. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on, plus other points of interest. Andy's watched some German action. There was a bit of BLK Prime, ProBox as well during the week, and action from Canada coming up next weekend. But we'll start over in the Save Mart Arena in Fresno. I don't know whether that used to be the old Staples Center or whatever. Maybe they've rebranded it now, but there's been a lot of good fights over there in the years. And the main event did not disappoint, I thought, Matty. Jose Carlos Ramirez, as he's known here, we'll call him Jose Ramirez, went in against the ultimate Cuban spoiler, switch hitter Rancis Bartholomew from the old school of Cuban fighters. He's a lot more negative. He's more risk-averse. He's more of a Rigo and a Lara than a Tellez and a Morel. He came out, though, and he threw a few shots like it was his last chance saloon, especially in that third round and a little bit in the fourth as well. I thought he had Ramirez, Matty, in a little bit of bother at times.
Oh, absolutely. I thought that the judges didn't give him enough credit. I thought he won 3, maybe 4 rounds in the fight. That third round was a mess, though, with probably should have been ruled as a knockdown in favor of Bartholomew. But then when Ramirez went down, Bartholomew just kept swinging, and he popped him in the head a couple more times. So I think the ref just decided not to call one, not to call the other. You know, it's 1 point in both directions, foul and a knockdown. So whatever that was, but he just kept repeatedly finding that left hand. And even when Ramirez gained control back and he started to really dominate the later rounds, he was still getting stuffed by that left hand from Bartholomew. And I was almost just surprised whenever Bartholomew would go orthodox. Like, what would you do that for? You're landing that left hand at will. But Ramirez just kept going. He did well pressuring Bartholomew. A lot of good work on the inside, hook into the body, coming back up top. He didn't land necessarily a super large amount of punches that were clean, because Bartholomew is reasonably tight on his defense. But he did catch him a few times and had the greater work rate, and definitely deserved the victory. Like I said, thought the judges had a little bit wide, but man, I'd be very cautious about putting him in with a southpaw, because he just couldn't get away from that left hand to save his life last night. And if it was from a fresher fighter, more natural at the weight, I don't know if Ramirez makes it out of that fight.
I was trying to think back to the Josh Taylor fight, Matty, and it's been a while since I've watched it. I haven't watched it since it was live at the time, and he was a southpaw. He had success with the left hand, but I seem to remember he had success with the right hook and the right uppercut as well, Taylor, especially off the break in one of the rounds, and that was kind of, the knockdowns ended up the difference there, but southpaws maybe give Ramirez a little bit of trouble, I think we can ascertain after the weekend's activities anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I don't know where he's going to go from here. It'll be curious. Him and Duarte fighting on the same card. Maybe you could see that one coming up next as they work him towards the title shot, trying to see where that opportunity might be. But I think Ramirez, we've probably seen the best of him. He hasn't improved much over the years. He just kind of is what he is, and that's enough to beat a really large chunk of fighters. But I do think that at the very least, a southpaw that's capable and hungry is going to probably beat him next time out. But I mean, really, any of the top tier fighters, I think, probably have too much for Ramirez. I think he's just a little bit past his best, and even at his best, he wasn't quite the elite level. So,
yeah. I think that's a fair assessment, Andy. I think he's been a decent fighter over the years. His activity levels on the ring are always very high, but outside of the ring, I've looked at his record here. He was a 3 fight a year guy sort of early on in his career. Then he went down to 2 fights in 2017, 2 fights in 2018, 2 fights in 2019, which were against Cepeda and Maurice Hooker, both good wins. Then only 1 in 2020 against Postal. Now I know there was COVID and all. 1 in 2021, 1 in 2022. 1 in 2023.
Yeah,
this is his first 1 in 20. He's gone there. I know he had the trouble with Top Rank and all, and he's over at Golden Boy now, and they've showed with Ortiz getting him out twice quickly that there is a chance he's going to shake it off, but he's definitely rusty. He needs to fight more often, Andy. He can't be having 1 fight a year.
Yeah, and it's the same with Bartholomew as well. I know he's up in age. What is he, like late 30s? He's fighting practically once a year for the same time frame. What is it, last 4 or 5 years? As Ramirez. He got buckled. I don't know if Matty mentioned about the 4th round. That was a knockdown. That was bullshit. And I know, okay, what happened afterwards was, after the knockdown, the continued punching should have got called and that as well. But I think that knockdown should have been called there. The referee maybe got that one wrong. The left hand, they couldn't really kind of get out of the way off, I felt as well. Ramirez. Yeah, I think also the activity is probably going to kill him as well at this point. He just could not adjust to the left hand. The referee, again, as I mentioned, clear knockdown. I just probably was a more exciting fight than what I probably imagined it to be. Obviously, I've shit on Bartholomew a fair bit early years and that as well. But to be fair, the guy stood in there as well. I think he suffers a wee bit as well from a lack of an inside game as well. If the wee bit of an inside game, he might have had Ramirez in there a wee bit more bothered. And as Matty says as well, the judges gave him pretty much no respect there last night as well. So yeah, again, a fighter, as I said, just no inside game, probably better on the outside, catching Ramirez with those left hands. Just if you just stay off the ropes and move about the ring and that's his style of fighting. But at this point in that as well, as we'll probably mention when we get to JoJo Diaz, Bartholomew's got his point or got his place in the sport, and it's probably just a gatekeeper, isn't it, at this point? So Ramirez for that hand. Who's it? You said he was in line for next, sorry?
Matty was interested by the fact that Duarte was on the same bill as him, possibly. Barbosa's floating about, though he's quite highly ranked, isn't he? I don't know. It's difficult to see what they're going to do with Ramirez now.
Peel up the rankings actually, but if you mentioned Duarte just off the cuff there, then I would probably go with Duarte in that one, because isn't it that he's the young, hungry, up and comer. You kind of then question Ramirez, obviously saying his inactivity levels and that as well. How much he's kind of wanting it. Just pulling up the rankings here. This is 130, so 140 now, isn't it?
Yeah, 140. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got him running about Richard Hitchens, Arnold Barbosa, Sandor Martin, probably a Taylor Cartrell winner, possibly. If that
he
fight
might
ever
be
happens,
a really
obviously.
bad style matchup for Hitchens, honestly.
Who, Duarte?
No, Ramirez.
Oh, Ramirez, sorry.
Yeah,
Well, Hitchens won the Eliminator, didn't he? The IBF, so he probably looking upwards. To be honest, it's hard to know.
Was that not a gifted decision though? That Hitchens last fight.
Yeah,
I didn't think he beat Lemos.
No, I didn't think
no
so
one in the
either.
Nutters group did either. It was except for a couple that disagreed. I think there was basically unanimous on 115, 113 Lemos, which is odd to be so consistent, but it's didn't see a way to route to victory for Hitchens in that group.
Clarissa Shields had it near a shutout. She was happy enough.
Yeah.
She knows her stuff as well, you know.
Yeah, she heard those cards and she was just like, "Yeah, pop that shit."
Go on, Andy.
No, I was just going to mention. Obviously, you're talking maybe about trying to kind of get him into kind of like world class, contention. Maybe you think it's still too early for Dalton Smith against Jose Ramirez? I mean, Dalton Smith's getting high up in the rankings now as well. He's going to have to get his toes wet at world level.
That would be a nice fight, wouldn't it? Because they have the Zepeda common opponent. Smith's on the way up. I know he has the sort of Adam Azim European title sort of thing floating in the background. And then they were talking about Azim fighting Eubank, weren't they? But yeah, Smith Ramirez, would Oscar look to put him in against an up-and-coming guy? I'd say he probably wants to not cash Ramirez out, Andy, but he's probably looking upwards with him, isn't he?
Yeah, but if he's going to look at Smith, then he's going to kind of then think that Ramirez is going to beat him. But I don't think he'd look at that fight potentially unless it's maybe going to be mandated. I just think, in terms of, I'm just thinking about Smith mainly because I think Ramirez is definitely there for the taking. He's definitely got that chinny aspect about him as well. You mentioned Ramirez. Taylor hurt him. Dropped him as well, badly off that uppercut as well. Got buzzed last night, badly I felt. We went back to the corner very, very wobbly as well after that fourth round. As I say, Smith, just if he's got the hunger on that as well, and he can catch him, he can maybe just finish him off. Maybe just catch him at the right time. And I say that might be the right opponent for him to really put him in the picture there for a world title fight.
Yeah, Beatbot Boob saying there's a reason Ramirez turned down Teofimo. That's right, they offered him to Teofimo and Ramirez said no. Then Top Rank offered him to somebody else. Can't remember who the other person was. And he said no. Was it maybe Regis Prograis, I think, possibly? And he said no to that as well. And then they'd had enough and cut ties with him. He's a ticket seller, Andy. But I remember, go back a fair few years now, he fought that Amir Imam. I think it was maybe 2017, 18. And I remember at the time, I thought to myself, that was the first exposure I'd really had to Ramirez. And he was one of these guys, I thought he was okay, but he was 100 miles an hour, head on the line, just constantly wailing away until he sort of outworked you and ground you down. And I thought, there's no real nuance to his work. Anyone who can sort of step off and land a few shots, like Bartholomew did last night, would give him trouble. I think the fact he sells so many tickets and he's popular, seems like a nice kid, don't get me wrong, has maybe kept him in the front runner. He's had B-level wins and all, but I've never... The thing I'm trying to say, Andy, is I've never really been that impressed with him.
Yeah, there is I think he was trying to say, mate, there's a wee bit tad overrated a wee bit about him, to be fair. I think that's fair to say. I don't think, if anybody would say that. I mean, look, I'm just pulling his record. Postal, good win, but it was close. The Taylor fight, I think everybody was kind of like, well, I was picking Taylor going into it.
Pedraza, his best win.
Zepeda, how far back we're going there?
That's 19, I think.
That 19.
Doing a good job on Hooker, didn't they? Hooker was crap, but he was undefeated at the time, and he didn't he knock him out in about 6 rounds, I think.
Yeah, he did. And that was good prime Zepeda too. That's when Sean had a lot.
You really could sit and pick holes in anybody's resume, right? So what I would probably say as well, if you look at his activity levels, and Steve, as you mentioned, he's a ticket seller. He's obviously a popular guy. He's probably earned some good money off Top Rank, the ESPN deals and that as well. As maybe he doesn't need to be fighting all the time. Have you seen the ring aprons there last night as well? As it had all his
armors and all.
Aye, so he's big into that thing, isn't he? So I don't know if he's like got his own businesses. Maybe he doesn't need to fight that often. He's making money that way. Maybe he's a bit of a philanthropist, whatever it is. Business, don't know what it is in that, but I think it's one of the ones, mate. I think he's there for a paycheck. He knows he can pick it up when he needs it, if he needs it. And apparently there's a lot of work with his community in that as well for his farmers and that. So maybe a lot of it goes towards those guys. I don't know. So, but I also think as well that there is a definite fragility there. I think he is ready. Someone's ready there to pick him off. He might tick along still. I think Bartholomew and Comey were probably the right opponents for him at this point, considering the likes of where they are in their careers.
There's a reason he didn't fancy the Teofimo fight. I think he would have been prized for Teofimo. He would have been picking him off all night, Lopez.
There's that as well, and of course, you're kind of thinking if Lopez puts all together on the night, of course he's going to be a favourite. But you think to yourself, right, okay, is Lopez going to hold it together for that night? But I'm sick and tired of writing that kid off. Matias, I think would walk through him. would have no problems with Isaac Cruz probably kind of saying the same thing. Who's the other one? Sorry, Gary Russell. I think would probably beat him as well. That's Antoine Russell. So I think who else we got? As I say, I think Dalton Smith, if you're willing to take the risk, could possibly maybe set up the upset there possibly.
Well, Antoine Russell stopped Bartholomew, didn't he? It was about 18 months ago. I seem to remember one of the Showtime cards.
So there's something dodgy about that stoppage for me. And I know he got. Was that?
Was it that one? There was definitely dodgy with one of them, wasn't there? I know didn't he have the head clash with Rodriguez, or was that the other? No, that was the little brother, wasn't it? Sorry, I can't remember. Yeah, I think there was something funny about that actually. It's hard to remember. Rancis Bartholomew fights after all these years.
Yeah, I know, mate. It's not something you really want to go back, but it's something I've seen. Something I'm pretty certain it was that one.
Yeah, no, I think you might be right. Anyway, that's enough rancid for now. Let's go on to the undercard.
15 minutes of rancid Bartholomew chat there, by the way.
Yeah, we've done well, haven't we, really? There you go. Cut that for your timestamps. Onto Virgil Ortiz Jr. Matty, we'll start with you. Just over the £154 limit again against Thomas Delorme. We didn't expect anything different. Delorme got smashed to bits by Jerome Boots Ennis. He was being brought in to give... Well, I say give Ortiz rounds, but he's not going to give anybody rounds at this rate. It was a bit of a Frederick Lawson again. He got rid of him early. At least he's getting back in the ring. And we all knew, I know he said he wasn't overlooking Delorme, Matty, but he was, because we all were. Because we know the Tim Zhu fight, which we're going to be talking about later, or we talk about it now if you want to, is on the horizon. And Ortiz didn't want rounds against Delorme. He wanted to smash him to bits. The head wasn't available. Delorme back in the day was a slick operator, but the body was definitely there, and it was a lovely little left hand to the body. Just smashed him up, got him out of there, and whet the appetite really, Matty, for that Tim Zhu fight coming up in August.
Yeah, right on the belt with that left hand. Depending on the ref, might have been called, but Delorme really seemed to have no complaints. He accepted it and just kind of went on about his day. It's hard to kind of take anything from that. You're talking about a win over a guy whose career's been fought at 140 and 147. He's had some decent fights and a couple of victories over some okay names, but generally speaking, at the top, he's been trounced. And again, no different here. But Ortiz, took care of business with that Zhu fight on the August card from Los Angeles, put on by His Excellency Turkey bin whatever, and. So yeah, now we get to look forward to that, and I kind of like Ortiz in that fight. Zhu obviously has the experience over him, but I think punch for punch, Ortiz is a harder puncher, and I also think he's more fleet of foot than Zhu. So I'm leaning Ortiz off just the first look at the fight.
Yeah, that's an interesting summation there, I think, as well. Yeah, the punching power definitely sides with Ortiz. But if Zhu can get his defence on point, and we know he's gritty, we know he's tough, if he can get past the early rounds, you never know, he might be the first person to take Ortiz the distance. It is a fantastic fight. As for Delorme, Andy, Matty said there, coming up from a lower weight, looked a little bit pudgy. The body was there to be destroyed. It gives a nice highlight reel knockout moving into the fight. There's really not much more you can say about that last night.
Well, mate, what is it, a 15-year pro? He's now up. I think he started as a lightweight. Matty mentioned about the weight there. I just pulled up his record there again. He's been fighting the last 3-4 years as a welterweight basically, and all his losses have came against the best, and any wins have came against really jobbers. Really, Jesse Vargas a draw. I'm trying to remember the Terrell Williams fight.
The Terrell Williams fight was a good win because Williams was rated at the time, and that was on the PBC. I remember watching that.
He's not fought since.
No, exactly. That was the end of him. So he could have built up that record. We don't know. And the draw with Jesse Vargas as well. But yeah, I remember that Williams fight. Jamel James beat him. Decent enough fighter. But he was going the distance. And now he's kind of getting stopped the last couple of decent guys in the first round.
That's what he is now, mate. He's, to be fair, he served his purpose. As for the shot itself, it was a brutal shot. He didn't need to put a lot of power on it at the end of the day. He seemed to get his knuckle over. Seemed to be the bottom rib as well. Guy went down. He didn't even move. He went in that fetal position, and when you go down like that, mate, you're fucked. You're fucked. Doesn't matter. You could count to 35, 40. You still wouldn't recover. The guy will feel that for a good couple of weeks as well. Probably he goes to wipe his arse in the morning as well after he flushes off last night's curry at the coast or whatever and that. But it's not good. Also, it's not good momentum for Ortiz. You know, they're talking about rounds, fucking rounds, man. As I say, the guy got done off Jerron Ennis at welterweight, and you've got this kid come up to 54. How many rounds would you expect them to give you at that point? Yeah, look, Ortiz, again, we know what his issues are. He's obviously got some sort of medical condition, whatever it is. It's maybe tries to make the weight. He's held his end of the bargain this time. Hopefully he does it for the Zoo fight. I really do like the fight. Hopefully both guys are healthy for it, because I think it would be really good. As I says,
he was a pound and a half over, Andy, interestingly enough. He was a pound and a half over. No, I know it's a non-title fight. Lawson, couple of pounds over.
It's the habits.
Yeah.
It was a 156 catch weight.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that he can't shave those off, but he's still, like you said, Andy Habit, he's still over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to know within yourself, Matty, that he's got to say to himself, well, I've got to make 54. I've got to know I can make it. And if he's slightly, cooked it a wee bit for this fight, possibly. Say it was 54 this time, and he slightly cooked it, then he said, right, okay, I need to do it better for the Zoo fight. No, he's like, well, you're right, Steve. A pound's still a pound. There might be nothing at the end of the day for him, but you just never know.
We assume he can make it, obviously, because it's only a pound. But we still haven't seen him make it yet. Until he does, we just don't know.
Yeah, as I say, he never fought. Was it last year or the year before? He hadn't fought. Didn't fight an entire year because his illnesses.
And Stanionis as well pulled out, didn't he? One of the times, I think there was the three.
But he had appendicitis or something like that. He needed surgery.
But it elongated the process even more. Yeah.
It did. So again, it's not good. It's not good. The activity levels and in terms of durability for opposition and rounds. Not good for what he needs, because I think he will need to be tested a wee bit, or should have been tested a wee bit. So I think Zoo, based off that Fandora fight, I think he's had his ego checked a wee bit. I think they just slightly overlooked it. I think we all overlooked it as well, to be fair. And it's a totally different fight. And this guy, if he's complacent, you just don't know if Zoo, is he getting too big for the weight? Can he hold up the body shots and that as well? Just need to make sure. But it's a good fight, so hopefully both guys are fit for it.
Yeah, brilliant fight. Talking of body shots, Matty, before we go on to Duarte, did you see Raul Curiel on the undercard? He's 15 now, I think now. He can absolutely bang people out, man. He done this guy Maron with a couple of body shots.
How's he undefeated? Didn't he lose the rematch to Note Shinga?
No, this is Raul Curiel. You're thinking of Adrian Curiel.
Oh!
Not Curiels are the same.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, well, he's back in the ring real quick. I just kind of caught the knockout. He just came running at the guy and landed body shots and crumpled him. It was the week of body shots, Steve. We've seen quite a few of these stoppages, but I don't know what to say. He's wild card trained. Young apparently has not fought Note Shinga twice, let alone once. But interesting prospect. I mean, but it's hard to tell. I mean, he was in there for a round, came running in face first, and yeah, I don't know. Could get cracked. Could have more the tools in the tool chest. We'll find out. 90 seconds, not enough to make an assessment for me.
No, I completely agree. Andy, on to some of the other fights on the card. JoJo Diaz, he's been literally drinking at the last chance saloon for the last 3 years, I think. He's finally sobered himself up. This is loss number 6 now. There's a draw as well. He's not the biggest puncher. He's tough as old boots. I will give him his credit. He's a good boxer. He always comes in terrible shape, although this time he actually looked like he was in better shape. And he managed to get stopped for the first time in his career. So the rule here, I think, Andy, is might as well come in as a fat shit in future, cover up on the ropes and take his paycheck. But this guy, man, I think he's going to have to think about jacking it in. But then at the end of the day, what's he going to do with himself?
Yeah, there's that to it as well, mate. I mean, I was actually thinking about this during the fight. I mean, we've mentioned in the past and previous shows about his legal problems outside the ring and management issues. He's had personal problems and that as well. It's probably cost him a pretty penny. Lovely tattoo work, by the way. It's probably set him back a couple $100 on that as well.
Just what he needs to be spending his money on.
Yeah, I know. He's taxes on top of it. Anyways, mate. Look, what was his best weight? 35. He's new, but he just doesn't. Again, another one is a gatekeeper.
26.
26. Featherweight, featherweight was his best weight.
I thought the night he beat Tevin Farmer, I think, didn't he have a really bad cut as well? Thought he looked good that night, actually, to be honest.
Nah, did he beat him, or was that a draw on that fight?
No, it was Rakimov he drew with in his first defense, I think, wasn't it? Oh no, he missed the weight. It was a vacant title. It's hard to keep up with the career of JoJo Diaz, isn't it?
It truly is.
I mean, obviously, he get beat off Gary Russell when he come back. You mentioned Steve beats Stephen Farmer, finally becomes a champion, so. Again, another one. Look at the list of defeats there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's his last 6 fights. He's lost the last 5.
I'd bet the Russell fight, right enough. Yeah, that he did okay in that fight actually.
So I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if BoxRec's got it right a bit. That Duarte, he's got some reach in him, by the way. I don't know if that's 71 inches or what, mate, but fucking hell, he's got some length of arms on him. Diaz, I felt he started okay the first couple of rounds. He's trying to kind of walk him down, but then it just gradually,
third round, he got pummeled. I think it was. He got hurt pretty badly.
It gradually just became a bit of a beatdown. Really, he's becoming that guy now, mate. It's just he's a gatekeeper. Quickly going to be. Again, I don't know if it's purely because of what's happened with his management career and in the background or whatever, and that he needs to keep fighting. But Oscar's had him in a few of his shows in the past. Now he's got to be thinking to himself, "Look, time's up, dude." It really is, though. I mean, he's good for a couple of rounds, and he'll take some of the young kids probably the distance and that as well, like up and comers. But against these bigger dudes, and I mean that Duarte, I think is going to take some stop. He looks strong. He looks.
I mean, Garcia stopped him. It took a hell of a punch.
Yeah,
I think Diaz just really needs to try to work his way back to 130. I think that's as high as he can really be effective. So if he can't do that, I don't know what he does.
I don't know, man. I think he's got big bones. Look at his old man in the corner. He's a big unit, isn't he?
Little pudgy dudes.
They got him out within 2 months, Diaz. So they're either trying to keep him active and get him down in weight and keep him out of trouble, Matty, or they want to get the fights done on his contract so they can release him
before it really fucking goes south and they can't get any more money off him.
I don't know, man. I think I picked Duarte, Matty, much Ryan Deal. He was trying to warn me. He was trying to guide me towards the light. But I just thought to myself, Duarte, he was okay, but he was straight up and down. Diaz, this is his last chance. He'll come in decent shape. He can outbox him. First 2 or 3 rounds, I thought, oh yeah, then my prediction is going to come true. But old habits die hard, man. He just got worn down, didn't he, by a younger, fresher guy, I think.
Yeah, he was outside. I think that if he was going against someone that was closer to his natural weight, he probably would have made it to the final bell, at least, if not been competitive on the cards. But it was just the fact that when Duarte landed clean, he was visibly moving Diaz. It was I know that JoJo is the older man by a shade, but it looked like man versus boy in there. It was not the right matchup for him. And I remember he cussed out Golden Boy after his last fight. So who knows? Maybe they're doing it to fuck with him. Maybe they're just trying to keep him active, finish the contract like Andy said, or maybe they're just giving him fights so he can make a paycheck too. I mean, it is his living. So, but bad matchup. And I think pretty much every matchup, 135 North is bad for him. He needs to go down.
Yeah, we mentioned Dalton Smith. I could see them maybe bringing him over for Dalton Smith at this rate. He's going to end up with about 15 losses on his record. I think Diaz, when he's fighting at middleweight. Shame, because he was talented. I didn't like him when he come up. Well, not that I didn't like him, his style. Thought he was quite sort of safety first. Didn't really excite me. But after the Russell fight, which I thought he did a good performance. No, against Russell, Andy, I thought he actually did a pretty decent job. But I say, yeah, he's just going to have to reconsider what he's doing with his life. And he has those legal troubles in the background as well, so... we wish him well, I think, do we? Maybe we don't. Who knows? Brian Lua got a win. First round knockout. Didn't see that. I think Lua was with Top Rank before. He looks a bit like Ramirez, so maybe he's moved over some kind of stunt double or something. Looking down his record here, yeah, I think he was a Top Rank fighter. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, does it? I watched, Matty, the Marlon Esparza versus Gabriela Celeste Alaneath rematch. Apparently, the first fight was close, said some people. Other people said it wasn't. Esparza did enough to win. I watched the fight all the way up to the end, missed the decision, and then I'm just literally looking on BoxRec now, assuming, which is wrong to do, that Esparza had got the win, but it turns out he hadn't.
No, it was, I think I scored at 94 or 96-94 for Esparza. I thought that Alanis was doing a good job early on in the fight, but then probably around, I think I might have had Alanis, I think she might have been I had the fight even after 6 or maybe 4-2. And then I think, give or take, Esparza kind of swept the last half of the fight, maybe give the 10th. It's when she started moving, using the ring better, using her jab, she was able to walk Alanis into some shots. I actually thought that Esparza showed very clever footwork at times in moving these little half steps and just barely getting out of the way of Alanis and then landing her own counter punches. But unfortunately, she let those early rounds go away, and she lost a lot of belts in the process. Alanis is now the lineal at 112 pounds, even though Esparza was not able to keep those belts, even if she won, because she had missed the weight. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on with from here. I don't think anything like maybe a Sinisa Estrada fight would happen, because Sinisa's over with Top Rank and Alanis is not enough of a name. But who knows? Maybe do a rubber match in this one. They're all both of these fights have been pretty darn entertaining as far as they go. I enjoyed this one quite a bit, but yeah, it was a close fight that I think probably could have gone either way. Leaned to Sparsa, but the RG got it this time, and we'll see where she goes from here.
Yeah, I think it's bad luck. I'm no expert, as you well know, Matty, but Estrada, it's bad luck for her. I asked you recently when she unified the titles why it took like 13 odd years to get the unification. Esparza seemed like she was a naturally built-in rival. They'd had the fight before. Estrada had won. She was poking fun at her on Twitter before, saying Esparza sounds like she smokes 40 Marlboros a day and gargles vodka for breakfast. And now that she's been denied that rematch, which I think if Esparza would have won, even though they're with different promotional companies, I suppose was a bit of a problem, but that would have been made a natural rematch. But now Esparza's off back to the Marlboros, and Estrada's looking for another opponent.
Yeah, and I could see the Acosta Valle rematch as a possibility. That fight was very, very close, very entertaining. I could see her going up to 108 pounds to take on Jessica Neri Plata. But I don't know. That would have been a natural rematch. A lot of belts on the line that Esparza would have collected on behalf of Estrada, who I think just generally probably has her number. But yeah, if that was at all in the works, that kind of all went to shit now. And yeah, it's women's boxing is tough as a still growing sport. To find meaningful dance partners is very difficult. And unfortunately, one of them just kind of went poof for Sinisa last night.
Absolutely. Poof in the chat. Let's have a look who's flying about there. We'll read them out shortly. Dr. Rocco says Wellington can't even lace his own boots. I'm wearing slippers, actually, so no lacing is required. Andy, anything else from that card that you saw before we move on? Wasn't really anything else, I don't think, was there?
No, I only seen those 3 fights, mate.
Super duper. Right, what else have we got then? I know Andy was watching German action. I'll literally read out the results from Liverpool because none of us actually watched it, man.
Fuck that shit, man.
Not even going to lie. Didn't even watch anyone.
I know it was free to watch. I'm sure there was 2 shows on YouTube, I think, last night, right? And I can't mind. Someone WhatsApp me. I think it might be Dangerous Dave Lee possibly says that. He went like says, I just remember how shite those was it the Liverpool fight or Liverpool card was. I says, cheers, Dave. That's just confirmed. I'm going to bed. Fuck it.
Well, Peter McGrail in the main event was supposed to fight Jericho O'Quinn. He ended up fighting Mark Leach. Pretty much shut him out, apart from a round on a couple of cards. Beatriz Ferreira beat Yanina Del Carmen Lescano, 2 local fighters there going in for the IBF lightweight title. And Junaid Bostan.
What an interesting fight to put in the UK.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. Technical decision, something. Oh, bout halted due to a cut over Lescano's left eye, but an accidental head clash. So there you go. Maisie Rose Courtney won as well. So did Joe McGrail, Stephen Clark. I'm sure you guys in the chat watched it. You can talk about it between yourselves. Andy, over in Germany, you mentioned earlier there, Krasniqi, a couple of guys with sort of human password surnames also in action. But Hussein Sincara, liking the sound of this guy, Andy, you explaining off air that he's a bit of a banger, really.
Yeah, it's obviously again the guy he's fighting. I think he's a Kosovan, possibly. Kosovan. He's one of those mad, you should say, password names. But Ahmed, something like that. Anyway, I just want to mention him is because he's the guy's just hyper. He has got that type of Marco Huck about him. He has got that aggression. Let's go a lot of punches. He's up in age a wee bit in that as well. Hasn't fought anybody. That said, somebody was, I don't know if it was classed as a joke in that. He says, but I like to see him fight Opataya. The base how Opataya fights himself, he can be quite aggressive, throws a lot of shots. I think with this guy, I don't know if he's a chinny banger. I mean, he's got 18 knockouts in 22 fights. Hasn't been, as I say, hasn't fought anybody. I don't know if he's been dropped yet. I need to go through his record or whatever than that. But based off how he fought there last night, I think it could be fireworks. And if he's chinny, then so be it. He gets banged out. But keep a wee eye out for the guy. Give me a second. I'll see if he's actually ranked anywhere in the top 10, actually, with some of the bodies. Give me a second here. Sorry, this is interesting stuff, I know. But
maybe the IBO, hopefully, Andy.
Oh, he is. There we go.
Right.
IBF number 5, number 3 with WBA. He is no ranked with the BC that I can see just now, and no ranked with the BO. So yeah, that says the you guys were saying Opatai and Brennus are fighting for the vacant belt again, aren't they?
Yes.
So that's 3 and 4. I see 1 and 2 is vacant. So I wonder if maybe Sin Cara might get put into it. When that guy he beat last night was ranked 7 with IBF. So I don't know if Sin Cara will now get classed as a number 1 contender with who he needs to fight at number 2 spot, or if he gets put in right in the mandatory position to fight the winner of Brennus against Opatai. But yeah, bring it. Based off that, if you look at the other options as well, mate, I mean, you got Sislak. I think he won in Poland a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he was. Who was he fighting? He fought somebody.
It was a jobber, mate. I think it might have been a Brazilian, possibly maybe an RJ, maybe.
Well, who's he? He's meant to fight someone then. Oh, God, I read something about Sislak during the week. Is it one of the British fighters he's being linked with?
Bellum Smith, possibly.
Possibly, I know he's fighting Riakport. I can't remember.
Yeah, Riakport. Oh, it's Isaac Chamberlain. He's fighting for the
Isaac Chamberlain. That's it. Yes, that's it. Isaac Chamberlain.
It's European title. So yeah, you've got Diablo Vidalchik still kicking about the top 15 there, mate. Marcus Brown still kicking about the top 15. So really, and then Yves Ngabu, who I think did he get knocked out off someone recently as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So listen, look, the options are really kind of thinning out there. So this Sin Cara might get a call one day, so just keep a wee eye on the guy. As I say, he's not proclaiming he's fucking world class, whatever and that like, but just based off how I see him fight, could be fireworks.
What do you think, Andy, about that Opatai Bradis rematch? I don't really mind it, to be honest, because Opatai is staying active. He's had a couple of guys he's banged out early. We don't know what Bradis has got left, but he has enough credit in the bank, I think, from his previous activities that I don't really mind it, I suppose.
Plus, he's also made he broke. Bradis broke Opatai's jaw in 2 places.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Am I right in saying that? So again, that's additional credit as well. You think yourself, well, if he's still able to do that, at least you think, well, he's still got a bit of a chance. So, but I would still fancy Opatai, to be fair, mate. I'll go with Opatai on points at this point. And as I say, if he was the obviously the big statement is a stoppage and that, but I'll go with Opatai on points.
Working Class Patriot says Mike Perez is back in the mix, but if back in the mix, he's fighting them guys in Spain that we saw him in against about a year ago.
Was that? That was a while. He's really serious.
Some Hungarian or Czech or something, was he?
I don't remember where it was. It was Spain, eh? It was
I think it was out in Spain. There was the Romanian kid was on the main event, and against Samuel Molina, I think, was it? Yeah.
It looks like he's been anorexic for the last couple of years as well, as you know.
So he's back in the mix. You mean he's like working at a Cork bakery or something?
I don't know what he's doing these days, but that level of opposition, man, needs to upgrade that, I think. Right, what else have I got on my list here? ProBox, Matty. Wednesday, you know what I'm like with these ProBox cards. By the time we get round to the weekend, I've forgotten what happened. But Ramon Cardenas, that was a good main event actually against that Jesus Rubio. Was it a body shot? He ended up getting rid of him.
Yeah, and they were going back and forth, and it was a pretty entertaining fight where I thought Cardenas probably took control around, I don't know, the 5th or the 6th. And I believe JoJo Diaz is in his corner, I think. And he was just imploring him to go out there and knock him out, and he just uncorked this wicked body shot. I mean, you could hear it. It was mean. And he finished off his opponent, and in the 9th round, he's, I think, 25-1 now. So definitely a guy who's going to be who's a player. I think that was 122 pounds, Steve.
Yes, it was.
So interesting guy. He's definitely has some nuance to his game. He can be a little bit static with the head, get caught with the straight ones, but he's going to be in some entertaining fights. That's for sure. Let's see what else on there.
Valle was on, wasn't he?
Yeah. Was it Marcus Valle or Dominic? Which one was it?
It was Marcus Valle. He went in against Damian Sosa and he actually lost. Unbeaten record gone.
An upset there. Taller guy letting the shorter guy just kind of work him on the ropes and control the distance. And by the time that Valle started finding some shots in that range, it was too late. And he had lost plenty of rounds at that point. So that was a step back for the young Puerto Rican American. We'll see where he goes from there. And then there was, let's see, Rios, wasn't it? Ronnie
Rios, yeah, he's decided to give it another go, hasn't he? Went against Nicholas Polanco.
Yeah, and he pulled, and another one. He was more dominant, I think, than the other guys in their victories. And then another left hook to the body. It was the week of left hooks to the body. Great finisher by Rios there, trying to reestablish himself again. We'll see where it goes, but again, I thought it was a pretty damn decent card from ProBox. Entertaining main event. They put one of their prospects in tough. He lost. This is the stuff that we like to see. Well-matched fights.
Well-matched fights. That's what we like. Well, Matty likes to see them. I suppose I do too as well, to be honest with you. Take Ames is making us aware of a well-matched fight. Mike Perez versus Michael Hunter is being planned. He says Hunter was last seen looking pretty poor out in Russia. Perez hasn't really fought anyone of note. Why not? Might as well just go in against each other. Ricky Gavil's thrown in a £5 super chat with a lot of crying emojis. He's crying out to me here. He must have hurt himself during the week or something. We love you, Ricky. Thank you very much for throwing in that super chat there. We'll never forget. That was ProBox. What else did we have on my little list of doom here? Did you see the Jake Paul card on Friday night, Matty? UNS Tellez against Joseph Jackson, I think the main event.
I did not, unfortunately. Did you?
Yes, I did. I did actually see this one. Tellez beat the shit out of Jackson. Of course, there was the kind of shadow hanging over it before. I was waiting to see after 5.5 rounds if Tellez would get rid of him. But the manager must have been away from the scene. Jackson, bit of a puncher, hadn't fought anybody. He was tough. He was hurt badly in the second round. In the third round, I put this in the Nuthouse chat, he landed one of the lowest low blows I've ever seen in my life. Tellez, I think this knocked the wind out of Tellez that much that he couldn't finish him for the next 7 rounds because he was on his knees and he genuinely looked hurt and offended. He looked up at Jackson as if like, what the hell are you doing, man? What did you do that for? He could not believe how, and you see it on the replay about it, how low the low blow was. It was pretty bad, man. Poor Tellez.
That sucks. So much for having some kids in his future, I guess. The family line stops with Ewings.
Exactly, all down to Joseph Jackson. What else was on this? Oh yeah, Daniel Perro. We're not sure if he's any relation to Lenier Perro yet, but he is a big Cuban heavyweight, 7-0 with 5 knockouts. He went in against Nathan Gorman's younger brother. Well, he looked like him anyway. Jose Mario Tamez. You knocked him out in the first round. Tony Aguilar beat.
Doesn't he kind of look like old Lanier Solis if Solis wasn't shaped like SpongeBob?
Yeah,
like, he's got a little bit more roundness in his features, you know.
Oh dear, yeah. Perro looks decent actually. In and out of the ring. Shout out to Magic Mike. He thrown in $4.99 super chat. Much appreciated. What else did we have? There was something else, wasn't there? Oh yeah, I didn't see any of this one either. Feel free to comment if anybody wishes. BLK Prime, you all must have forgot. They put the Terence Crawford Avanesian card on, Matty. They returned in Philadelphia on Saturday night. Henry Hank Lundy was on the card, and he won a split decision against the guy with 22 losses. So, just to give you an indication, show don't tell.
Lights might be going down on that career.
On what that card is like. Jesse Hart was in an 8-rounder. Nikita Ababe. Do you remember him? White chocolate. Was he Russian? I think he was Russian. No, he's not Russian at all. He's from Virginia. There you go. Well, close enough.
Well, his family might be from Russia. You know, he's obviously a fucking Cajun.
He's relocated.
Gotta cut me off guard, Steve.
He won in the first round. Andrew Tabiti got a first-round knockout win as well. And Joey DeVecco won in the third round. It doesn't look like inspiring stuff, that now. I must admit.
That Joey stays active, man. If you look at his box rec, like win or lose, the guy's fighting 5-6 times a year, it seems like.
That's crazy. Why not? Might as well do something with himself.
It's his job, right? Like, his job is to fight.
Yeah. He's a skilled fighter, actually. That Ababe got dropped by Hearn, I think, says Michael Thompson. Yeah. Dropped in sparring by Hearn, maybe. Who knows? What else have we got? Australia. I'm sure you guys didn't see any of this. I watched the whole card, actually. It was
another
pretty
Nikita.
Decent. Yeah, Nikita Zhu got a 10-round decision win over Danilo Criarte. He's very exciting, Zhu. He's going to be in some good fights, but he gets hit. He always goes through a little spell in a fight where he has a bit of trouble. He did get hurt by Criarte. He's not a puncher, but I thought I think he's of Italian descent, is he? Maybe based in Australia? Yeah, he's an Italian who's based in Australia. Can't punch for toffee, but very tough. Zhu was pounding him with everything, and he kept on He kept on coming back. Went over 10 rounds, lost every round. Australian super welterweight title. Yeah, I fear for Zoo. He's got an offensive, pleasing style, but I don't know. I think he just gets hit a bit too much. Unless they can sort that out, he's going to be in for a bit of trouble. What else did we have on there? Cesar Matteo Tapia. He had somebody in his corner. Was it Buddy McGirt? Somebody of note was in his corner. He's a Mexican based in New South Wales, 17-10. Sorry, 17-0 with 10 knockouts. Got a win over 20-0 Kaiba Gonzalez, who was from Venezuela. He was decent, actually. He wasn't too bad. And we had Jerome Pampalone, who we were talking about last week, originally from the UK, now based in New Zealand. He has the Peach Brothers in his corner, a very heavily tattooed gentleman, and he lost anyway to 21-0 Malik Zinad. It was Zinad, sorry, I think, who had Buddy McGirt actually in his corner. This is great stuff, this. Benjamin Hussein, the Hype Beast. He's nicknamed the Hype Beast. He knocked Mason Smith out in the final round. And women's boxing for you, Matty. Lynn Sandstrom, bit of a story, this one. She's originally from Sweden. She's easy on the eye. Moved over to Australia. She was 1-2 and a draw after her first 4 fights, and she managed to get back on the road and got a world title shot after so many fights against Clara Lescurat. But she lost pretty much every round, unfortunately. So, yeah, the story is over for her. But, yeah, she's done pretty well for herself.
Do they still have the Swedish bikini team? I mean, there's other options, aren't there?
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose so. Why not? She has a decent tan. Alfredo Angulo says Declan Graffin. That's right. Angulo, wasn't he fighting in some bare knuckle thing or some kickboxing thing over the weekend, I seem to say.
Really?
I've seen his name come up. One of the boys put it in the chat, and I saw Angulo.
Imagine
was
how
fighting.
chinny he'd be by bare knuckle boxing if there were thinking Canelo, Kirtland did to him.
I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a guy whose career was fucked by weird circumstances. It was Angulo. I think he was sitting in a detention center for over a year. I
came out like a Unabomber, didn't he, with that fucking beard?
Yeah, he looked pretty terrible, and you're looking at him and you're like, oh, now I see why they're worried that Arabs might blend in and walk over the border with Mexicans. Okay.
I don't know what he was. One of the boys. Yeah, bare knuckle, says Declan Graffin. Exactly what he needed at this stage. Exactly. Oh, dear. Good old Angulo. Yeah, we wish him well. Let's have a look in the chat then before we go on to the action for next week and talk about some of the upcoming cards. Beatbot Boop's there. Declan Graffin. Dr. Rocco's here as well. Michael Thompson's hanging around. Magic Mike, Ricky Graville, Take Ames is with us. Johnny, Working Class Patriot, Reese, Emlith Go 1983 is in the chat as well. Who else have we got? See if there's any new names. I think there was a new name earlier. Danny Young, that's not a new name. That's a familiar name. Dr. FMG is with us as well. Welcome to him. Velschmerz, talking about Porky. Teddy Boy 94. No sign of Chukwu yet. Paul Rafter is there. MB was hanging around in one of the streams over the weekend. Nathan N. That's Nathan Newman. We've got Kevin Sutherland as well. Dez was in earlier. Anybody at the bottom here? Nobody. No bottom feeders this week.
Great bunch of lads.
Great bunch of lads and lassies. And some of them not so great. We're not going to discriminate, though. Not this week. What have we got here? Here's one for you, Matty. We mentioned it earlier, just briefly. Brushing over it, but there's plenty going on. The greatest American card of all time, says Eddie Hearn, with a bit of hyperbole. Some of the Don King cards were pretty good back in the day, but I can't really find myself disagreeing with Mr. Eduardo too much this time. We've got Terence Crawford against Madrimov in the main fight. Cruz Valenzuela, Siu versus Ortiz, Ruiz Miller, Morel versus Kaladzic, and Cruz versus Moran. Talk about the main event, talk about the undercard, talk about whatever you want. Matty, what's sticking out to you on this one?
I think that Crawford against Madrimov is a very interesting fight. I like Madrimov's size. I like his footwork. I think Crawford wins, but I think he wins by decision and the knockout streak ends. I said earlier I like Ortiz over Zhu based on I think he's got the clear advantage in power, and Zhu's not used to that, so he might get caught in a bad position exchanging with him. And I also think that Virgil has better foot speed than Zhu by quite a bit. I would definitely take Zhu in that one. Andy Ruiz against Gerald Miller. This is an interesting one. You got Andy Ruiz, who is accused of beating his ex-wife and her ex-girlfriend, and now has a restraining order against him.
Ooh.
And Gerald Miller, who had his truck repossessed and went and stole it back and is dealing with his charges there.
I think didn't he get acquitted? I could be wrong. I think that he's got let off. No, I could be completely wrong, but I think he has.
Well, all praise be to Allah, huh, Steve?
Yeah, 100%.
There you go. And if you pull that down, I'll look at the other ones here. Let's see here.
Sorry. I'm just trying
David
to pull
Morrell
off
against
Koba here. Hang on.
David Morrell against Kalashnik. Kalashnik looked all right in his coming back on ProBox. He's been doing okay, but this is Morrell moving up to 175 pounds, leaving 168 behind. I think there's a lot of these guys who are just sick of Canelo holding all the belts and not picking them as dance partners. But I think Kalashnik might give him a few problems for early in the fight. But man, this Morrell, I mean, unless he loses a substantial amount of power at 175 pounds, he is one of the most accurate punchers in boxing. He finds holes that other boxers are incapable of finding, and I think he'll probably demolish Kalashnik within 4 or 5 rounds. And then Andy Cruz against Antonio Moran. A decent enough fight for Andy Cruz as he keeps stepping it up, looking for a title opportunity early on. I think this is his 4th fight, and he could be set up for probably a title opportunity in the 6th. He should walk away with a victory in this one, but we'll see. This is why you put folks in there with that talent early and see where it goes. I mean, but he is just such an incredibly talented fighter. We'll have to see, how his pro career develops. But I don't think Moran is the one to stop him in his tracks if that's going to happen.
No, I completely agree. Kaiser Koba's thrown in a tenner. Thank you very much. He said it's payday. And then he did a little Canelo-style laugh just in time for Canelo coming up later on. So thank you very much, Mr. Koba. Very much appreciated. Love this card, says Des. What are you thinking, Andy? Especially the main event there. Interesting enough. Madrimov was kind of on the fast track. Got stalled a little bit with those Sorrow fights. I know he's beaten the shit out of Sorrow and then they stopped it. It was a little bit dubious. The rematch didn't help matters with the unintentional head clash. I think the fact he beat up Kurbanov in his last fight, it's a bit easier on the eye now to put him forward against Crawford. Would you be happy enough with this regardless? What if this is Crawford's only fight of the year, Andy?
Disappointing to be fair, actually, but I can see why Crawford's only fighting once this year. Politically, he's been kind of phased out of the 54 title fight because of the Charlo situation, hasn't he? I remember a game. Who was that? Was that the Fundora fight?
Oh, no, sorry. I think haven't Charlo now said he's going to relinquish the belt, or have they put an interim up with the WBA? No,
what was it? I think he was going for like champion in recess for something.
Something I can't remember exactly what happened now. So there's
but the 54 belt possible. I can't mind anyway, but I can't be too down at such and that, mate. I mean, look, the fight's been announced, and at least it's kind of coming quick. At least we've not got like freaking months and months of build up toward it. I probably disagree with Matty. I think I'd probably go with Crawford with a late stoppage. I probably want to strike with irons hot, at least not keep his image up. So yeah, and again, Madrimov just hasn't really kind of caught fire for him either. He really is it. Well, for a lot of the Uzbeks and that as well. But yeah, I'm just going to see the rest of the card here. Morrell against Klaj. Remind me, he fought on the ProBox about a month ago.
Yes, he fought against a faded Sullivan Barrera. Now, his best 2 opponents, he's lost both of them. Then the Marcus Brown fight, if I remember, Andy, was quite close, actually. A lot of people thought he was hard done to back then, and he should have got the win against Brown, so we'll kind of chalk that off. And then against Beterbiev, everyone gets beaten the shit out of by Beterbiev. Yeah. We might be able to chalk that off as well, but if Matty, like Matty said, Andy, if Morrell smashes him in 4 or 5 rounds, I think that's a reasonable enough statement. Is his new weight?
Yeah, I would probably say so. Sorry, is Morrell? Oh, sorry, this is a vacant belt as well. I don't know what to make it, but it's a WBA belt. So Morrell's went up to 75 entirely, right? Okay.
Yeah, he's moved up to 75 and he's got a shot straight away. It's a vacant WBA belt. I think, is it another interim? They're doing away with the interim, the WBA. And since they've said they're doing away with all these interims and stuff,
Benavidez Vazdik is for the WBC interim at 175 too. It's all a bunch of fuckery when it comes down
Bivell's
to it.
champion in the WBA, so what the
fuck? They're not inactive. He's unifying. It's all crap. They're trying to force. Maybe they're trying to force Benavidez against the winner. I mean, I'm not adverse to that, really. I mean, but I don't know. These titles are fucking meaningless.
How can you put in a title that's designed, as you said, Matty, for inactive champions when the champion is fighting in an undisputed clash against another champion on the 1st of June?
They make the rules up as they go along, Steve. Did you ever read Calvin and Hobbes when you were a younger man?
I mentioned it last week, didn't I, about the BBC fucking, allowing Baterbev or whoever it is, Bivol, to fight for the BBC belt, even though they fucked off the rest of the Russian fighters who couldn't fight for that belt because of the.
This is West Coast California against Canada, though, no wonder.
Oh, aye, that's right. It's not going to fight in Saudi.
Canada's own Baterbev, man. Got that Canadian style.
But yeah, I think it's all set up for Morel, to be fair. I mean, Hot Rod is. I think he's got a level in that. I think Morel is looking like he's a couple of levels or two at least above him. Cruz against Valenzuela. I probably need to look a bit more at that one. I think maybe
that might be all right, actually.
Yeah, it will be, but again, I just don't know if we're going to.
Which Valenzuela?
It's Jose.
Rayo beat Colbert up in his last fight. They'll come at each
other.
Oh, yeah. They can both punch.
And I mean, I don't think it matters if that fight's at 135 or 140. I think it's the same fight either way.
I mean, on paper, at least, looking at these fights, I mean, technically speaking, you should see a couple of good knockouts at least. I mean, okay, let's go. A Morel knockout, I'll say, I'm going to go Cruz by knockout. I'll go Andy Cruz by decision.
Ruiz.
Decision.
Morel's up. So Miller's a fucking big dude, man. That's
Ruiz and the biggest puncher in the world. I think that'll be decision.
That's 300. That's 300 bills you're fucking pounding on as well, man. That takes its fucking toll. And I'll go. So I'll decision for that one, and I'll go Crawford by stoppage. And I'll go. I don't know about the Zhu Ortiz fight. I think it's close to 50-50 as possible at this point.
I think so.
I'm on the fence with that one just now.
I like Ortiz's power and all, but it might be what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
It depends. I think the main thing is if Zhu stands in front of Ortiz and tries to bang with him, he'd be in trouble, but he's not that stupid, Andy. He'll be looking to move, trying to offset Ortiz. He's got a few more tricks in his book. I think that might be the best fight of the card, actually.
Yeah, he has got tricks, mate. I just don't think he's good to fight off the back foot. I don't think he's capable of doing that. I think if he's forced to fight off the back foot, that's if Ortiz steps toward him, he could nail him. I don't think Zhu has got the ability to fight back like that. I think he's got to then meet him head on, but he can't keep doing it throughout the fight. He's got a decent jab, he's got a good hook, and he's got a decent right hand, but you're right, he's not got the same power as what Ortiz has got. But then again, Ortiz hasn't been fighting this, I would say, let me just think here. Try to remember Zhu's last couple of fights. Would you say Zhu's last opponents were more durable than what Ortiz has been fighting the last couple of fighters?
Well, I think he's more battle hardened. He's been fighting better quality of opposition, not necessarily
Pandora, Mendoza, Tony Harris.
On a regular basis, he's really been grinding out. Whereas Ortiz has been banging out people, but he's been inactive and he's been banging out losers in a single round.
Anyway, Gausha. I mean, these are no top fighters, but they're very good fighters. So there's an element of that to it. But I just think it could come to you. I think you're right, mate. I think it could come to the power shots at the end of the day, and the body shots, it could be the one as well. I think if Tim hasn't really got the kind of really good head movement, could stand in front of people for too long. I think he could get drawn into battle a wee bit in that as well. I could maybe see, I'm talking myself into the Ortiz win here actually at this point. So
yeah, so you've been getting rounds, says Des. He has, hasn't he? Been getting good rounds against good opponents.
Mm-hmm. But also, again, if Ortiz's medical history is clear and it's all good to go and that, you could say he's also the fresher of the two as well. I think he's ready to go.
154.
Well, there's that as well.
There's a lot of things floating about, which makes it more interesting.
Zhu isn't really a big 54. I'm just looking at Zhu's record here, making 54 and that 152, 3/4, 153. Maybe he's just slightly cooking it a wee bit, come down in weight and that as well. But he seems to make it kind of comfortably enough. Never seems to be coming at 54 or anything like that. He's always coming at 52, 53 mark in that. So
I liked Ortiz in the post-fight interview last night, Andy, after with Mannix and all. He said something like, "Oh, what about making 154? worried, or is the time right now to move up and fight a guy who's like a natural 154 pounder all his life? And Ortiz was like, I don't know if the time's right or not, to be honest with you, but I just want to fight the best guys. I thought that was just the way he could have come off with some bullshit and gone, oh, I'm feeling as strong as ever. He just says, I don't know whether the time's right or not, but let's find out.
Aye, and he's like, I think he says anything else to say to Tim Zoo, and he's just like, no, that's it. Let's just I like that. He says, you make me refreshing. There's no bullshit. If that was Rolly Romero, for example, would have got some fucking happy Easter, everybody, that type of stuff and that, like Forrest Gump. But no, he was just like, right, dude, I'll see you whenever. When is it? Fucking August, September time. I'll see you then. So, what, 3 months away, 4 months away?
Yep.
I tell you, I think actually, obviously Zoo's cut will obviously be healed by then, hopefully, and that. But it'd be interesting to see how. Did anybody hear how many stitches that he needed for that cut again?
Not sure, but it's interesting how quickly he's come out again. It really shows his warrior mentality. I'm not saying Fundora's not a warrior, but afterwards he broke the nose, wasn't it, Fundora? And the dad was like a kind of PBC answer. Oh, he's going to be out for the rest of the year now. We need to heal and recuperate. All perfectly fine, legitimate. So he was like, nah, fuck this, man. I'm back in August against Virgil Ortiz. Thanks very much. See you later.
And then again, mate, so he can't be signed exclusively to PBC then, I take it. I mean, this card will be on, what is it, DAZN?
DAZN, yeah. I think they're just, the PBC, they're in a funny place at the moment, aren't they? I think they just go where the highest bidder is. I mean, we can all say, they're with Amazon. Are they really with Amazon? Amazon just seems to be a partner of convenience, Matty.
They don't have enough dates to keep their stable active.
So they have to put them out.
They need more deals. Yeah. They need more types of shows. They need smaller level shows. And I think we're in the last days of PBC. I think a lot of people have made their money. Yeah, I don't know how many of those were the investors necessarily. They have managed to. They have managed. He burned
through about 800 million, didn't he, Eamon?
They have managed to end HBO boxing. They have managed to end Showtime boxing. But hey, I think Al Heyman just kind of wanted to get some cash back for his black brothers from Whitey. So if that was the goal, done, Al. Well done. You just had to kill boxing for it to happen.
Well, the thing is, there was no rumours going to boot back today because of what happened to whoever was it? His brother,
Bobby Heyman, wasn't he?
He kind of had that impression. I'm going to fuck this sport over, or whatever it was, and that. So be it bleed it all his money or whatever it is, and that.
Yep.
And he's done a fucking good job. I'll tell you that. Because he's got his pick. I mean, you're talking about activity. Like we're talking about Jose Ramirez, and I'm saying to myself, that guy's taking the Danny Garcia blueprint to success these days, and that, man. When Danny Garcia coming out and says, I pride myself in being like fighting like the old school champions and that. Fuck me, you're a better Jaramis fighting like 5 and fucking 6 times a year, defending his title, over the weight fights and that as well. Some of these dudes are fighting once or twice a year because Uncle Al got them paid. When's the last time you seen Santa Cruz fight? You got Danny Garcia make a comeback here. I don't know the last time he fought, actually. That's how memorable he's been fighting.
It was when he fought Jose Benavidez. And that was last summer or the one before even?
It's the mentality as well, though, boys. I think it's ridiculous. Like, I was listening to some apologist and he was saying, Tim Hughes fighting against Virgil Ortiz in August. Oh, so he's not going to honour the rematch with Fundora then that they all said they were going to honour. And I'm like, no, but I mean, I can't remember some random man. I'm like, well, hang on a minute. He's going to fight Virgil Ortiz, man. What the fuck? Give him a break.
Did I not read, though, that fucking the Fundora camp came out and said they weren't interested in the rematch regardless of it?
But...
Jesus Christ. Yeah, but you're saying to me, obviously, again, the detractors are going to say Ortiz, again, like I'd said, activity levels, the illness, all that type of stuff and that. But look, dude, the guy was highly touted, like literally 2 years ago as one of the top prospects in the sport. He is here. He's calling out the big names or the big-ish names. Fucking, I'm happy this fight's made. But again, you just got to hope, well, I say 50-50, but you got to hope that Ortiz is going to be there fit and ready to go, which I think he will be. The weight move maybe will help him, but and again, Zoo, I just think maybe the ego checked a wee bit as well. But again, he could have easily sat out. He could have took the fights back in Australia, for example. You come to me, I make bigger money here, but no, he's decided to go there. Plus, you said this is Saudi season as well, so there'll be bigger money on this card now, regardless.
Huge money. That's why the lads were saying about the belts and all. Nobody really cares about belts on this card, do they? He's paying them massive money and they're all coming together. And you notice you don't see people dropping off. I know, ironically, the biggest one of them all, Fury, dropped off against Usyk. But you know what I mean? Generally, you don't see people, fight week, I've got cut or I've got hurt an ankle or whatever. You don't see them disappearing with this money on offer.
No, when they COVID call offs this time, mate, you can guarantee
they'll be dragging their asses into the ring on wheelchairs, man.
Fucking right. Life support, ringside dialysis. They'll fucking love it, mate. You can guarantee it.
Oh dear. Cruz against Moran. And I think this will be an interesting fight. We'll see about Cruz's power. People have sort of questioned his power. This will be an interesting one. If he gets rid of Moran, I'll say fair enough. The only person who's got rid of him in the past is Devin Haney, who's not a big puncher, granted, but he did a good job on Moran that night. I remember caught him with a right hand from the gods, and that's the only time Moran's been stopped. He's been in with good level of opposition. He's always given good as he's got. Even a couple of fights ago, he was fighting Jermaine Ortiz, I think it was, gave him a good argument. Point is, if Cruz can get rid of Moran, Andy, I think that'll be a good indication of his power as much as anything else.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I think some people were kind of bigging him off. Was it the Giovanni Straffon stoppage? I think it was, because I think he'd been in with some other names. Maxie Hughes obviously beat him as well. I think he beat James Tennyson.
Right,
yeah, you're right in that. But obviously, because the guy, forget all the names he's been in. Maybe he's been in with the guys who were ex-champions, been in distance with pretty much all of them, obviously, in that as well. So, Cruz, look, to me at least, I don't really care if he's a big banger or no on that. But if he is going to be one of these fighters, and that he's quite entertaining that as well. He can be one of these Cubans who's just going to be moving about the ring for 10, 12 rounds, whatever it's scheduled for, and that, and just pick up the points to a decision and that. I'll go to see it. But yeah, if he stops him good and well, but again, win's a win. That's the main thing. And we might get who's the fight they're calling for with Cruz again that Eddie was talking about? Who's that fight again? Stevenson? It's no Stevenson, is it?
No.
Shafir?
No, I'll not be fighting Stevenson. I wouldn't have thought. Eddie might call for it. There's no chance in hell.
Who was Keyshawn? Is it Keyshawn Davis? That's
even that
Keyshawn
too.
Davis,
no way are they going to put Keyshawn Davison against Cruz. Aaron's not going to do that, is he? Realistically, let's be honest, man. Stupid.
Gotta let it marinate.
Well, I agree. I don't like marinations either, but I mean, from the point of view, Eddie will say, Cruz should be fighting Keyshawn, they fought as amateurs, whatever, maybe they did, I don't know. But Aram's not going to do that, is he? Put Keyshawn Davison against Andy Cruz? I wouldn't. Well, he might do. Might make a fool of me. Other people have done that in the past. Des says Cruz wins, but I'm with you, Steve. It's how he wins and how he looks good. That tells us more about him. It is because he's not the Cuban style, is he, Matty? Really, Cruz. He's backed himself. He's gone into that Philadelphia gym. He can't run around like Landy Lara trying to sort of beat people by death by 1,000 cuts. You've got to go in them gyms. You've got to fight hard and come out and go toe to toe with people. So he has backed himself.
Yeah, well, we'll find out what he reverts to if he gets under pressure and if he starts eating a few shots. I think I like the fact that he's developing a more aggressive style that's not common in the Cuban system. But I think it's also good that if for some reason he's struggling, he can fall back into those boxing skills and potentially eke out a close win that way if necessary. He's got a lot of tools and he's got a lot of talent. And hopefully these coaches are working him the right way and developing some weak spots that he might have. Because as far as the attributes you look in a fighter to compete at the top, he certainly has them. It's just all a matter of seeing fight by fight if he checks all of these boxes and to see what happens when his chin gets checked.
Yeah, exactly. What happens in the fight itself and what happens going forward. Michael Thompson says, hope Cruz doesn't fade away on endless points decisions. Exactly. You're right, Matty, just picking up on that point that you made. It's whenever you get tagged. It's okay when you're on top against guys like Straffon and Zamarripa and potentially Moran, when you're beating the shit out of them until the stoppage comes or the points win or whatever, but it's when they tag you back. I know Thurman's not Cuban, but I think he's a good indication of the point that I'm making. Wasn't it the body shot against somebody? He caught a body shot, didn't he? He was never the same again. He was dominating people before that. KOs for life. And then it was a real significant change in his whole boxing mentality. It changed his whole career.
Diego Chavez, he stopped him in 9 or 10 rounds, but in the 6th round, he ate a wicked body shot. And I don't know if that necessarily changed his style or if people saw his weakness at that point in time. Because then, even though he stopped him, Luis Collazo hurt him with a body shot. When he fought Leonard Bundu, kind of caught him off guard with one, and he just boxed him for 12
Bundu, I
rounds.
think, was the one, Matty, I was thinking of, actually.
Yeah, and then Spence, the next fight or a couple fights later, just demolished Bundu in like 4 rounds.
That was right. Straight
so
off
it's
the
just-
back of the Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, some people just have a weakness and they have to fight around it. And I think, after that it got exposed, he wasn't as entertaining, but I think Keith did a good job of kind of fighting to protect that weakness. The Guerrero fight, I think, was a really good example. And I think he's definitely the one that cracked Guerrero's chin. First guy, I think, that really ever dropped him pretty hard. After that, he just kind of started moving a little bit. Pacquiao, he came forward a bit more in that fight. But yeah, he can't take him to the body, and he changed his style around that. So you kind of got to give credit where it's due. It was necessary.
Johnny with a sobering point. He says, at what point does Aram think, fuck it, I'll be dead soon, let's just make all the fights now? So maybe he will throw Keyshawn Davis in. Who knows? What else
He needs to get diagnosed with like a terminal illness or something like that. He has to put on one final Big Bang card. As his going out party. It's Bob's Bob's dying wish or some shit like that.
Bob's hope. Fuck's sake, man. And Michael Thompson says
90-year-olds die, Steve. It happens.
Well, not Don King's still going, isn't they? They're racing them two to try and see who's going to outlast the other. Cruz looks like a good puncher too, to be fair, though. He might do. I'm not sure if he's a puncher or whether he's one of the guys, it's his speed and accuracy. At this stage, the speed and accuracy sort of catches people relentlessly, or whether it's that one punch power. I don't know, Michael. You could be right. I'm not sure. Take Ames, ain't playing games. He says, long live King Wellings. He's thrown in a tenner. Thank you very much to you, Eamon. Any final thoughts on this card, Andy? I know we kind of talked it to death, but it is decent, isn't it, to be fair? I mean, you could headline quite a few shows with many of those undercard fights, really, at least 3 or 4 of them.
All hell sports washing.
Yes. All hell sports washing. But you can imagine, Crawford, Madrimov, if Hearn was doing that show on his own, he'd put it on pay-per-view. Ortiz, Zoo probably would end up on pay-per-view for the guys who are still PBC or fighting Showtime or even DAZN, for example. So you're right. I mean, Morel probably will become a headliner as well at some point in the very near future. So it's good. It's good. As I say, there's a good couple of 50-50s there. Cruz Moran possibly. Ortiz, Zoo would be mentioned, and other guys and that as well. I suppose if you really want to be interested in the heavyweight fight, I suppose the question is going to be if Ruiz can stop Miller, which I don't think so.
Interesting stuff. Right, let's move on and see what else we've got. We have a rescheduled card, actually, redirected. It was supposed to take place in April. There was a few injuries, pullouts, suspicious activity, who knows. Eric Bazinian, USA, ESPN, Eye of the Tiger Promotions, going in against Shaquille Finn, who's been brought in to help Bazinian take over as he looks to make himself available for a vacant title shot, as and when Canelo gets rid of all the belts. Thomas Shabot's on the undercard against Alfredo Espino. It's one of the weaker Eye of the Tiger cards at the moment, if the lineup's anything to be believed. Jean Arobio's on, and so is Moreno Fendero. Bazinian, you've seen him before, Matty, as well. 32-0, 23 knockouts. I don't think he has as high a ceiling as Christian and Billy, but he's been doing the job as best as he can. He's got rid of the kind of gatekeepers of the division. Ronald Ellis, he knocked him out. That was a good stoppage. Went majority against Alantes Fox. I think he won that pretty handily. I'm not sure where the majority came from. Marcelo Casera as well went points with him. When he stepped up in levels, he's kind of showed where he's at. Scott Sigmund knocked him out as well in Mexico. Sigmund was one of the final Roy Jones opponents. I think the point I'm making is, Matty, they've kept him ticking along. They're looking for a vacant belt opportunity. I think anyone decent probably beat Bazinian, but he is a bit of a ticket seller, and Eye of the Tiger have done a good job, quote unquote, protecting him so far.
If I'm going to guess what the end game for Eye of the Tiger is for Eric Bazinian, I'm going to say it's that they believe Christian and Billy is good enough to get a title, especially if they fracture the sanctioning bodies, force Canelo's hand, some way like that. I think they believe and Billy will probably pick up a belt. And I think what they're believing is they can build up Bazinian enough in that same time period that they could have Bazinian challenge and Billy for that belt in a fight that they are almost certain that Billy wins, but they've built up this great all Canada clash, which will have some hype behind it. But yeah, this is hopefully Bazinian gets another win and he can make that dream happen.
Let's hope so indeed. Andy, next Saturday, the 4th of May. I don't know if you saw this one popping up on the radar. Manny Rodriguez, IBF title. He holds the IBF title, actually. Picked it up after Inoue dropped them all after he beat Butler and Unified. Rodriguez beat a guy called Melvin Lopez. I think that was one of the... Was that one of the old PBC cards on Showtime? I think it was, actually. I'm trying to remember that one. Anyway, he's defending that IBF bantamweight title against Ryosuke Nishida, 8-0 with one knockout. So he's not a big puncher, but he is a tall southpaw. He actually... this is the guy that beat Daigo Higa, actually. I know he was a bit weight drained and all, but back in 2021. So he's built his way up the rankings here, and he's fighting against Rodriguez in Japan, Andy. I mean, I suppose it's decent enough. If there's nothing else on, you might stick this on the old VPN.
Just trying to get... What card is that? Is that the Osaka card, mate?
Yeah, Osaka card, yeah. Koki Kameda Promotions, remember him?
Oh, I see that, aye.
He was dirty one, Kameda.
Koki was okay, mate. It's the other brother you're thinking about. It's the one that fought
Tomoki?
Tomoki. No, I know him. He's the one that fought in Mexico, wasn't it? There's another brother. Is it
Daiki? There's about 4 of them all together.
Daiki.
Daiki. Aye, it was Daiki. I think he got suspended, and I think the father got suspended as well.
Oh, was it? I thought that was Koki. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Yeah, they're definitely not in the Japanese mold of like respect and shit like that.
Yeah, they're like a different culture, and they weren't looked down upon, weren't they? Because they sort of went out their way to cause trouble. But he's a promoter now, Andy, so he must have made up with the JBC. You would imagine.
They sued them, mate. I'm sure. I think they won. And I think they got their license overturned, and they got it back in that. Rodriguez, he's the one that Inoue smashed in Glasgow.
Yeah, that's right.
To be fair, I don't think I've seen him fighting since. To be fair, actually, mate. So I'm interested, kind of crossroads fight. Of course, he's got himself back into the title as well.
Didn't he have a technical decision against somebody? He clashed heads with somebody, didn't he?
Gary Russell.
Gary
Russell.
Antonio Russell. Oh no, it was Gary. Yeah. Hang on.
Gary Antonio Russell, aye. So,
I didn't realise they had a rematch. I forgot about that then. So that was also a head clash. I remember the first one. They headbutted each other after about 15 seconds.
Same in the rematch.
Same in the rematch. I don't remember the rematch at all. There you go. Learning something every
because
day.
The rematch... look at the card. The cards are wide as fuck.
What card was that on then? Caleb Plant against Antonio Durrell. Oh, Deontay Wilder, Helenius.
I have got no recollection of that fight.
No, me neither. Me neither. There you are.
That was aye. Yeah, mate. I say that'll be a late morning fight for us. That I'll maybe catch up with it. But again, there's nothing really there that I'm interested in. To be fair.
No. What about Bazinian? Any interest in him, Andy, or do you think the kind of same as us? Like,
I think you called it right, mate. There's a glass ceiling there. I think even some of the commentators were mentioning it possibly in his last fight. There was question marks possibly regarding some of his performances. I think maybe it was one of the RGs that he fought in that. I just don't think he's got that next level in him, mate, to be fair. I think if he comes up against the best of the division, I think he'll know that he'll get embarrassed, but I just don't think he's got that next level in him. And somehow, I'm not trying to degrade the guy, but I'm just surprised he's still undefeated at this point, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's been carefully marched, I think.
Finally, Matty, before we go off to Canelo, Declan Graffin's thrown in 529. Loving that. Mrs. giving me the evils. I'm off. Cheers, lads. Thank you very much, Declan. Much appreciated to you as well, sir. Red L Boxing. This is the DAZN. I don't know if it's just... No, I don't think this is Overtime Boxing. I think Red L might be a different crowd to the Overtime crowd. Anyway, who cares? Erickson Garcia in the main event, 18-1. He's one loss. He got banged out in a round by Jordan Short Dog White, who I'm a fan of. He's going in against Malik Montgomery, who looks a bit like a woman, actually. 17-0 with 16 knockouts, so he can definitely bang. And he's been fighting a lot out in Mexico.
Because all the people say he looks like a woman. You just piss him off.
Dominican Republic. In 2023, he fought a guy called Luis Rosa. And on the footnote to BoxRec, it says Luis Rosa fought and had a life suspension on 2019. So 4 years before Rosa fought against Montgomery, he'd been suspended for life for a matter that we're not made aware of here. So there you go. That's quite interesting, I suppose, Matty. Huh. Red L Boxing Arena in Houston. Any interest in these guys? Maybe
I
put it
might
on.
watch it. Well, actually, I'm not going to watch it because Steve, I'm not going to be in town.
Oh, where you going?
I'm going to be in Las Vegas.
What are you going there for?
To see Canelo versus Munguia.
Ooh, gambling degenerate. Where's your money going, Matty?
Oh, I don't know. Last
$2 about going on Canelo and points.
Last time I was there, I was up about $600 on the blackjack table. So probably go play a little bit of blackjack.
In America, Matty, do you have those machines where you put like it's 2p's in England?
Machines, yeah.
I don't
play that
no
shit.
2p machines, and they like sort of push them at the back, and then they like tip over a sort of revolving like kind of drawer, and they tip into the coin. I'm not describing.
Oh, and
it
it
very
just
well.
drops the coins. When
yeah,
you
it
put
drops
it in
the
the right
coins
place.
down, and then
Oh,
you put them all back in again and lose them.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to watch when people are doing it that get it all full up and run out of money. Then you can go over there with a couple of bucks and run off with 10, 15. Yeah. It's those are good fun. But I might spend a little time at the blackjack table. Gonna spend a little time playing golf with Mr. Donnie Baseball. Headed to a Kentucky Derby party as well. Gonna be a good time in Vegas. Hopefully
Donnie's not totaling up the golf scores, otherwise you better keep an eye on him.
We're not gonna.
We all know about them scorecards.
We're not gonna be playing for money, Steve. I'm not gonna enter in that game with them. We'll keep it all cordial in that sense, because you're right. Lawyers, they just can't be trusted. They can't be trusted. So, but it's going to be fun. We don't have tickets for the card yet. Prices are going down. We'll get them soon enough, but absolutely looking forward to that one, and hopefully catching up with some of the boxing news guys as well. We're out there. So, but yeah, it should be a good weekend out there. Cinco de Mayo is always a blast in Las Vegas.
Okie dokie, we talked about stuff out of the ring. What about stuff in the ring? Actually, I better bring up the undercard, hadn't I, first of all? And we'll talk about that. Let's have a look here. So we've got, Brandon Figueroa against Jesse Magdaleno. Magdaleno is one of these guys. He has one decent win and he keeps on getting these opportunities. I'm not really that fussed on him. Figueroa should be entertaining enough.
He's so over the hill. He's down in the valley.
Yeah, exactly. Mario Barrios against Fabian Maidana.
Not like his brother.
No, not like his brother, exactly. Jesus Ramos is returning to action against Johan Gonzalez. Vital Manicki's there as well. William Skull on the undercard, he's one to watch. And I think Stanionis, actually, Matty, against Gabriel Maestro might be decent. I know Maestro's been in the cheating game in the past. He is a bit over the hill, but he had that good knockout win over prospect Trayvon Marshall. He can punch, he'll bring it. Stanionis has been out the ring for a hell of a lot of time. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It might be. You don't sound convinced, Matthew. I think that might be okay, actually.
Stanionis' time out of the ring is the only reason I think that fight could be competitive and go Maestro's way. Hopefully Stanionis looks good. It was really no fault of his own that everything kind of fell apart. He had it's just Virgil Ortiz nearly killed himself trying to make weight, didn't do it. Fight never got off the ground. But I'm looking forward to seeing Stanionis back in there. Love that jab. There's a reason I call him White Corte, and hopefully he's still looking sharp, because I would love to see him get a shout at a real title when these belts fracture.
Anything else of interest? I noticed there, actually, Matthew, I just picked up on it. Alan Picasso, he's on the undercard. We saw him fight against Eric Ruiz on one of the Golden Boy cards in the past. He's in against a guy, Damian Vasquez, who, when I was watching the ProBox card on Wednesday night, through most of the rounds, I thought that he was the man who turned out to be Damian Sosa. And of course he wasn't. So unfortunately, but Vasquez is in the ring this weekend, and you'll be able to see him against Alan Picasso, who looked quite the oil painting for the first 4 or 5 rounds. And I think, didn't he get cut, or he hurt his elbow or something, I think, against Ruiz. And Ruiz is a tough nut anyway, and he ended up going the distance. But anything of interest?
Yeah.
Remember all that, yeah?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. He did look sharp. I mean, he looked $1 million, but it kind of, it all is based on, his opponent kind of standing there and taking it from him. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes, but it's not the worst undercard, Steve, but I feel like they're just popping some names on there and hoping it all comes in. Fabian Madonna is in there because of his last name, not because of his accomplishments.
Fair enough. Anything that interests you, Andy? Sometimes the PBC, we do laugh at them, because they like to spend money and all, but they do put guys together and accidental value comes out of it, and you think, oh, maybe they do know what they're doing there. That was a better fight than I thought. Can we hope for some accidental value on this one, maybe?
Yeah, possibly, mate. I agree with what Matt was saying about Magdaleno at this point. Don't know what he's going to offer. What else we got? Barrios against Maidana. Don't know about that one, to be fair, but Barrios. See, I'm trying to remember. He fought Davis at 140, didn't he?
Yeah, 140. Yeah.
He was up at 47. The fucking hell.
Yeah. He's a big
Stanley
unit, isn't he?
He is, to be fair. Stanley against Maestri. I'm not too sure about this one, to be fair. It probably makes sense for Stanley, he's been out for so long. Maestri hasn't really, he's not really, obviously he's got that disgusting, was it the draw? Sorry, it was the one, sorry. You know, who's it? It was the Fox, sorry, the Fox
Michael
fight.
Fox, yeah, that's right.
Yep. But the one I was kind of looking at was that William Skull, and I just realised, how the fuck did that German end up on this card? And I just realised he's number one contender for the IBF, I think, at super middleweight. So he must have been next in line, and they've sweetened him with this slot. I think, but looks at not a great card, to be fair, mate. As you say, you might get a couple of competitive fights on the night. We just need to wait and see, but I don't even think the main event's going to be all that competitive either, to be fair, mate. I think Munguia will get a good count of himself, I would imagine, but I think Canelo will probably get him kind of down the kind of latter half of the fight and probably kind of stop him late. So,
well, feel free to elaborate on that, Andy, because Danny Young says, does anyone think Munguia has a chance? Beatbot Boop says Canelo has peaked. I'm picking Munguia on points. Michael Thompson as well says Munguia has a great chance. I think it could be an upset. They're smelling the upset there, Andy.
You've been drinking the Matty fucking DJ Leonardo fucking juice, I'll take it then. Matty, you can't be picking Munguia for this fight, are you?
I'm not picking him, but I think it's going to be a very good and competitive fight where I just think that ultimately the output of Munguia's offense is going to give Canelo the hole he needs to land something significant down the stretch. But I think that the hardcore Canelo fans are going to have some worrisome moments for sure in this fight, because Munguia's going to be there to fight and he will let his hands go.
Yeah, I mean, if just take
when was the last time we saw anyone put their hands together against Canelo? Probably Bivol.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe
I'm just thinking Golovkin. Yeah, probably Golovkin. Try to think who else tried to kind of put something together. I can't make a Plant put much together. I don't think he did, to be fair. Did he?
He did all first 4 or 5 rounds. He did okay, I thought.
Smith done nothing for 12 rounds.
None.
Maybe Jacobs
Carlo,
possibly.
Nothing. Yeah, that's going back though.
Yeah, but it's going back. But yeah, you're probably right. Actually, Munguia. If you think back to that Derevchenko fight, that was pretty hard going in that. So if you're able to put that type of performance together, in that, you might start questioning how much Canelo might want it at this point in his career. But I just think it will come down to levels and that. And I think if Canelo it's a big body. Maybe he's 6 feet. Munguia will have a wee bit of height on him possibly. I think Canelo, just if he can start figuring out the body assaults and that, maybe start breaking him down a little bit. But I'll maybe go with Canelo on points. So I think, I mean, obviously, I've said it before, Munguia has had quite a long testing career when you think about it. Quite active, activity levels and that as well for a fair portion of his championship reign. And obviously Canelo's not had a stoppage now since, is it Saunders? Plant? Forget when.
Plant, probably,
Plant.
Would it be? Would it?
So, possibly, would be Plant, Plant. Yeah, I'll go with Canelo on points actually. I think Munguia will do. I'm actually talking myself around. Actually, I think Munguia will do better. What I think. You're right, Mike. I think if he comes with ambition, I think it'll be a better fight. But I'm maybe expecting that. Actually, I just hope he comes to fucking fight and comes to win, and it might just force Canelo to open up a wee bit more than that. And if you can get Canelo to work, if you can work more than Canelo on that, you've got a big chance, I think. So it'll be interesting, but I think Canelo will do it. Will do enough and probably win it on points.
Yeah, I think he might catch him just in between those little pockets, Matty, those little moments. But Munguia, he definitely has improved. I compared him early on in his career as like an excitable puppy, the way he jumped in the ring and threw all these shots, and he was defensively irresponsible, and they linked his name to Golovkin early to try and give him a bit of a profile boost. But he's definitely improved. He's grown into the weight. He's moved on up. He's got a nice jab. The high output's there, but he can move side to side as well at times. Nice. A bit of a pressure fighter, but I think the point I'm making is he has definitely improved, but there's probably a reason why Canelo has picked him, and he feels that he can dissect him. But if Munguia can get off to a fast start, bit of pace in it, Matty, you just never know. It could become more interesting than we think.
Yeah, stylistically, I think this is a good fight. It's the first time in a long time when I can think of a fighter who was an offensive machine in their prime fighting Canelo. For me, as I look through the career of Jaime Munguia, Steve, the question for me is whether he's going to be more like Julio Cesar Chavez than anything else. Is he a guy who got off on being a weight bully, and that's where he was able to pick up his title and have his successes? And then when he runs into somebody who can stand up to that in a really meaningful way, he's not going to be able to do anything about it. In Chavez Jr.'s case, that was Andrew Fonfara. Canelo, obviously more capable fighter than Andrew Fonfara. So I'm going to base Canelo's getting towards the end of the line. I think this is a good judgment of how much he has left. But I think win, lose, or draw, this is going to be a good idea of who Jaime Munguia is as a fighter. And if he can turn in a performance that is worthy of talking about, even if he loses, if we're saying, man, I can't wait to see Munguia against X, Y, and Z, that would be a great fight. And I think what you have here is a guy who wasn't spoiled, wasn't coddled like Chavez Jr. And even though Chavez Jr., was beloved by the Mexican fans, and I remember how crazy they got in the 12th round against Sergio Martinez after his 11 rounds of nothing. So I just feel that Munguia, with fighting another Mexican in front of that crowd, he's never been in this position, but he has a deep enough professional resume at this point in time that I think he will be spurred on by the crowd. He will want to impress them. He won't want to disappoint them. He will force the action. And again, win, lose, or draw, I think that this is going to be an exceptional fight because styles make fights. And I think that this has great exchanges written all over it.
Beatbot Boob says, would not be surprised to see Jaime pull this one off. Canelo has looked progressively worse in his last 2 to 3 fights. Danny Young says, what is Munguia's best win to date? Just wonder if he has faced anyone as good or a similar style to Canelo. No one as good, clearly, but similar style. Maybe the ginger, the Irish Mexican Dennis Hogan, perhaps. Canelo doesn't like work rates.
Derevyanchenko.
Derevyanchenko. Always.
And the fact that he gutted that out with knocking Sergey down in the last round too, I think that showed a little bit about his mettle.
It did, but it goes against Dez's comment. He says Munguia will be stubborn, but I think he'll go into his shell after round 5 when Canelo gets into a rhythm. Munguia is a good kid, but I don't think he's at that level. What else have we got? Is there a rehydration limit? I was listening to a Canelo interview during the week, actually, Matty, and of the spectre, the ghost of David Benavidez looms large. He's obviously moved off. People are still asking Canelo. And early on in the interview, all the reasons that Canelo gave for fighting Munguia, he's Mexican, sort of basically giving him a hand up in his career. He's young, he's fresh, he's hungry, blah. He's done a lot of good things in the sport. Were all the same reasons he gave for not fighting Benavidez at the end of the interview. So he does seem to have the bit between his teeth about Benavidez. Doesn't like getting asked about him, but we're going to ask about him till the cows come home, till he fights him. And I have a feeling that Canelo's pride will spike eventually at some point, and he will fight Benavidez. But obviously, it'd be a black mark in his career if he doesn't.
I don't know. With Benavidez going up to 175 and time, wearing on that big frame of his, I think Canelo is successfully sidestepped that potential roadblock in his career. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose Andy Benavidez's handlers seem to be moving in a different direction. I've noticed a bit more beef between Benavidez and David Morrell. Morrell's side especially, he's been mentioning Benavidez more and more in YouTube videos and comments, etc. So they're obviously trying to push from a camp perspective towards Morrell Benavidez. They both moved up together to 175. Have they put Canelo to bed and said, we're not going to fight him, we're going to fight each other, we're the future?
Nah, mate. I think they'll definitely, if the fight is there to be made for them, they'll make the trip south without doubt. If it costs a leg and an arm, whatever it's due to make weight, they'll fucking do it, mate. And if it means coming down to 65 or lower, you can bet they're actually going to do it because they want to check. Everything else is secondary these days, mate. They all want the money and the honey. But yeah, to be fair, look, if it's ever going to happen, it's getting thinner by the day. But looks at that, then it's the right move. 175. Look, I've called for. How long have I called for this? Benavidez 175. I've called it for years because he's had this attitude about him. You know, I'm the big man, and you know, there is this thing about me is a bit of weight below at 68. So 75 is where he should be fighting. And as I say, you've got Peterbiev, you've got Bivol. You can do a bit of round robin there. You got Vosdik kind of coming back. You got Anthony Yar still kicking around about there as well. You can maybe throw Boats into the mix, really, but yeah, he's still in the mix here. Albert Ramirez could get picked off, but again, the tank maybe no there, but he's certainly he could ask questions for the first 5-6 rounds easily. Willie Hutchinson, maybe no, but he's gradually kind of coming into, and you got Dan Aziz, some of the Brits coming through. They got Hot Rod and that as well.
Willie Hutchinson's calling for the Beterbiev fight. That we might have a public execution after all.
Yeah. Give me a second just now, mate. You can pop away for 2 seconds.
Oh, no problem. Just as Andy pops away, Rapping Rob Kelly has popped in. You're very welcome here, Rob. We're just talking about Canelo Munguia, actually. Viva Las Vegas next weekend. What are you thinking?
All popping off. I think it'll be a good fight. I think Munguia will come with loads of activity. I just think the difference between the opposition that they face will probably tell in the ring. You know, that way. I think Munguia is a high volume puncher. I don't think he'll take a back step. I think he'll come and try and put Canelo on the back foot. But I think even at this stage of his career, Canelo will be too sharp in the counter for Munguia. Just too sharp on the inside. I think he go to the body and head with the hook. And just he's elusive as well. So he's losing a step, I'd say, Canelo, obviously, after the volume of fights he's had and how long he's been a professional, and he's been in the fucking the main focus figure since Floyd's retirement and been at the forefront of the sport for over 12 or 13 years at this stage. Like, so he's been up and down weights like a yo-yo. Maybe this is the night he gets old. You always think of these things, but I don't think Munguia will be the one to shock the world here. I think it'll be a good fight. Munguia will come and stand in the middle, loads of volume, but I think Canelo just slipping those shots, making him pay on the counter and ripping him on the inside. I think he'll have too much for Munguia. I don't know if he'll get a stoppage, but I'd say Canelo away, Judy.
Good stuff, Rob. Couple more things for you, actually. First of all, did you see anything from the weekend? Ramirez, Virgil Ortiz with the win?
Yeah, that was a big long fight. That Virgil Ortiz fight took me a long time to sit down and actually get to grips with the tactics on that. I was going to do a tactical breakdown about fucking exits and entries, but I said no. I think Virgil Ortiz, obviously the power's carried up. Don't know what like a body shot to Thomas Delorme does for your stock at 154, but he's going straight into this fight, isn't he? Isn't Turkey my man Turkey, His Excellency, is putting on a Riyadh season card in Vegas, isn't he? And I think Virgil Ortiz is on that one, isn't
LA,
he?
I think it is, yeah. Or
LA, rather, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and him and Zoo, that's a good fight. Like, for a really exciting fight. Is the two of them quick turnarounds. That's what you want to see. Like, fucking turn them out again, get it back to activity. So he has power, but yeah, pretty boring fucking night's fight. Like Ramirez and that, like, and around fucking Bartholomew and all that. Like, I'm not that interested in that.
It was a pretty good fight, actually, Rob. It was the first 6, especially, were pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it weren't too bad.
Yeah, so this is that's a fairly fucking good card. Like,
it is, isn't it? What do you think about Zhu Ortiz, Rob? Where are you leaning, man? We're saying it's 50-50, to be honest.
I don't know. It's a hard one to judge Tim Zhu on his last fight because it's a late replacement and it's fucking Fundora of all time. And even if you were semi-ready for Fundora on short notice, he went out and boxed completely different than he boxed any other time in his career. So, you know, you can forgive him maybe for there was a banana skin there. Having said that, I still thought Fundora won that fight. So I think Ortiz is in with a chance of beating him, of course. But we'll have to wait. We will have to wait and see who's fresher, who's stronger. We don't know much about Ortiz at 154 after one round out with a body shot stoppage. So we wait and see. I think Zhu's probably the more natural guy. The weight he's there with a point to prove now as well. But just the fact that they're getting that fight made and getting it on so quick is really encouraging and good to see. So I have no horse in the race. I just think that will be a good fight, a good matchup of styles. So I'd say maybe Zoo gives Zoo the edge in the before, like, we kind of come closer to it. But yeah, good card. Andy Cruz out there as well. Morel, Big Baby Miller. And Andy
Who's
Ruiz.
fresher, who's stronger? The tagline for Ruiz Miller, Rob.
Fuck's sake, like. The guy who should have got the bag versus AJ to the guy who fumbled the bag after he got to AJ. Like, that's the fucking the bill in there. Like, fucking, I don't know. Was this what Andy Ruiz was waiting out for? Like, waiting out the fucking heavyweight division for a fucking fight with Jarrell Miller? Like, Jesus Christ. A waste of talent. Should have been in the mix for more big fights at heavyweight for himself. Buster Douglas himself out of the rematch, didn't he? Like, he just came in as, what does he say? Fat as a pig.
Fat as a pig, Michelin man.
Fat as a pig, Michelin man in the rematch with Joshua, and then didn't, what's his name, Big Nipples, Chris Ariola, give him a fucking rough night since that. Yeah, so I don't know where he is or what. I don't know what the fuck that fight looks like. Actually, you wouldn't. I'd say the press conference would probably be better than the fight.
Interesting fact.
But that fight, like, obviously,
I was going to say, Rob,
Crawford Madrimov.
Uninteresting fact. The last two Andy Ruiz fights, I don't stay up for the fights these days, as you know. I've accidentally woken up in the middle of the night and gone and watched them. So there's something about Andy Ruiz.
Fuck.
So there you go. I might end up watching this one live. Who knows, man? Andy Ruiz gets me up in the night, man.
Well, at least it's someone. Do you know what I mean? At least he's doing it for someone. Like, but he's another one that fell foul to the fucking romantic endeavors, wasn't he? He's cheating on the missus, and she started dropping the dime on him, smoking weed and fucking all kinds of
on Instagram and all, wasn't it?
Yeah. Be careful out there, guys.
Yeah. He let himself down, as Ruiz says. There you go.
Yes.
He needs to have a good look at himself. Right. Anything else, Matty, that we may have missed or neglected to speak about before we go on to Belly of the Weeks?
Oh, most certainly, but I don't care.
Okay, cool.
I'm just assuming there has to be something. What's going on in Burkina Faso this week?
Oh, Bikini Faso? I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There hasn't been many cards there for a while, I don't think. I'll tell you what's going on over at patreon.com. /boxing asylum, Matty. Marcin PL has joined us. That's Marcin PL has joined us over at the old Patreon. Seems to be enjoying himself. Welcome. He hasn't left yet anyway. Yeah, so welcome to you. We had our super chatters. We'll go over them shortly. If there's nothing else, then we shall move on to the value of the week. He's been up to his old tricks again, as in the old Ryan deal. Last week, I attributed a Photoshop to him that was actually done by Damo, but this is definitely all Ryan's own work. He was on the ProBox TV post-fight stream after Haney against Garcia, and I missed this at the time. They were mentioning it in the chat, and I managed to catch up with it. Paulie Malignaggi got a message from Ryan himself about the comings and goings. Let me see if I can just bring it up for you here. Over at the Devonish. And Paulie was, it's fair to say, quite confused, to be honest, when Ryan jumped in here.
Respect for me. We got a super chat here. Ryan, what do I make that the news of Malik Scott returning to the Devonish next month? I can see Karnacki taking the body shots, to be honest. I can't see Karnacki taking the body shots, to be honest. Who's the Devonish?
Question for
Tim.
you. So
I'm telling you, the Devonish, the TAGDEVENISH. Tim, Teddy, who's the Devonish?
Paul, we got to
King Rai.
Or Paulie after he went home and Googled.
Exactly.
It comes up dog pound.
He's on the Pleasure Boys tour, is Paulie. Ryan Deal doing the Lord's work there. Fair play to him. What else have we got on the agenda here this week? Let's have a quick look then. Dave, 1108 EBK, I think that says. Gervonta Davis versus Floyd Mayweather. Here's one for you, Rob. At £135. Who wins? I got Tank by 8th round TKO. #boxing.
Well, they might be getting to it pretty soon. I don't know if you got any of the stuff in there, but we could come to it later if you want.
No, come to it now by all means. This is why I've teed you up exactly, because you're more down with what's going on. I mean, it's all getting a bit nasty.
Yeah, so there's a line of thought that says that every time Gervonta has a pay-per-view that him and Floyd start beefing, and just to boost the pay-per-views. But I don't know if this one might be a little bit more real. So in the midst of the fucking Haney, Gervonta, Shakur Stevenson exchange of words, Gervonta went on Twitter to say that Floyd is being held hostage in Dubai because he's ripped off some businessmen for millions and millions of dollars, and now they won't let him leave the country. So Floyd is taken to Insta to respond, and he posted that video of Gervonta dancing all fruity in the kitchen in the underwear that time, and he got Shade Room to post it. So they said on this website, Gervonta fucking took exception to this and said that Floyd had paid someone to post that content about him, and then the caption read from Floyd Mayweather, "We knew he had some sugar in his tank," and then Gervonta upped the ante and he posted a picture of him and Mayweather on a private jet, which I believe is either one of Mayweather's girlfriends or his daughter, and said, "I think we all know that there's no sugar in my tank on this side," which is apparently hinting at the fact that he was with Mayweather's daughter, Gervonta. So that's where that fucking beef is stemming from. But Gervonta was letting go, and he said he's going to knock Floyd's old ass out. He said, "Tell him pay back the money, and if I'm telling the truth, if I'm lying, tell him to go on live now and deny it. Instagram live." And then he said, "Floyd is as fake as that fucking hair and beard on his face," which I thought was fucking brilliant. But I think Floyd wants just want to fucking grow up with and get out of young people's business. Like, he's fucking everywhere, like just trying to fucking keep himself relative. He had to go on Instagram versus Bill Haney during the week to kind of, do you know what I mean? He's just a shithead, isn't he? Like, he's an unbearable shithead. Like, he want to fucking grow up, get a life for himself.
Watching an episode of the Boondocks, man. We just need a fucking Uncle Ruckus character in here.
Yeah.
Oh dear. It's all a bit crazy, isn't it, Andy? The old Floyd Gervonta. He loves being in the limelight, doesn't he, Floyd? He just can't help himself, man. If it's good, bad, he doesn't care. As long as he's being mentioned, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It keeps himself relevant. Surprised I don't see him in any more exhibitions, really, to be fair on that. But
that last one proper tanked, didn't it, against that guy with the stupid tattoo all over him?
Yeah. Another one, actually, you just wonder if he could maybe kind of get pulled out with the Saudi money and that as well, considering what he spends. But what's the question here in terms of
Need some money to get him out of Saudi, I think, by the sound of it. That's what they're saying. Anyway.
So, but is a script here? But I seen something. I don't know.
Been sold into sexual slavery.
Oh, that's what I want to know.
Him and Bill Haney went at it on Instagram Live. It's hard to see what was going on because Floyd's Wi-Fi looked like it was worse than mine. Fucking COVID days, like he couldn't hear. He kept breaking up every 2 minutes, like. But he had some good lines in there towards Bill Haney when he was saying to him, like, guess what, Bill? If your son is, because Bill was talking about it, Haney getting off on him in sparring, he was like, well, if your son is undefeated in sparring, congratulations, I'm undefeated in life and undefeated under the lights. So, but Bill was actually getting at something. He was saying to him, like, you're acting like you're this, all your money and your fucking undefeated record doesn't mean shit when your kids are not doing good in the street. And I think what he was alluding to was the fact that one of them was hanging out with Gervonta and he didn't want to say it. And then to respond, so Bill Haney had his little fucking pop back then after all that went down with Gervonta and Floyd, and he was like, "Is it sugar in the tank, or is it just too much salt in that old ass shaker?" So brutal mente exchanges going on with the lads.
That video was kind of hard to watch, though. I mean, it was just like the same stuff over and over again. Like, Bill Haney's vocabulary is roughly 300 words, and about 40 of them are the N word.
He's Floyd now, 50 now, eh?
Near 50. He's got to be on easy. Yeah, 48.
And he's born about, man. Like, I mean, what type of I mean, you get this guy buys trainers and throws them away after the fucking. Okay, he gives them away to charity after wearing them one time. What's the fucking point?
47.
Waste it. 47.
Shout out to Danny Young. He said, it's been a while since I've been able to listen live, but wasn't going to miss this one. Keep up the class work, lads. And then some
Floyd selling these Wendy's and that these days and that? Rob?
Yeah, I haven't seen many of these adverts in a while, to be honest.
Selling big.
Well, maybe the word's got around that he doesn't make good on his fucking investments or on his promises. But didn't Jake Paul say that as well? He never got paid for the fight with him and them two together, or Logan Paul, whoever the fuck.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
he paid in meta skeletons or something. Probably,
I'm Floyd Mayweather, 50, making smart investments.
You gotta wonder, like, because they're saying, like, a lot of people now are coming out and saying, listen, just fucking, we're telling you, he is broke. Like, he's fucking, it's not, his spending is not real. He's broke. But it does beg you to ask the questions, like, the listeners will know more than anyone, like, because we've covered some of these bizarre ads that he was doing on his Insta, everything from fucking houseboats that were selling fucking boob jobs in Miami to fucking metaskeletons to fucking gambling competitions that you don't know how to enter.
Still gun things as well.
And windows.
Super soakers.
And windows.
Double glazing windows. Like, if he's got that much money, like, you know what I mean? I don't see fucking like Warren Buffett like selling fucking double glazing. You know what I mean? It's not fucking. I just don't know. Like,
or being in Manjaro's in Middlesbrough.
Ah, he's going to see what was that place? What's that chicken facility?
I'm Warren Buffett, and this is Manjaro's.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Fucking Warren Buffett eats at McDonald's for breakfast most mornings. He spends like $5-6
Anytime
on
I'm in
breakfast.
the UK, you're going to go to Manjaro's.
Buffet at the
what I mean?
buffet.
Or what's that homie that owns the fucking...
There's your 500 quid, mate. Cheers, mate.
What's the homeboy that owns the Dallas Cowboys and all the fucking
Jerry
tequila
Jones.
brands?
Yeah.
Can't see him just fucking rocking up with an 0800 number underneath him saying, yo, every time I'm in the UK, check out these double glazing. You know what I mean? So maybe he doesn't have as much money as he says he does, or if he did, he's after burning through it buying shit.
He's got to have something stashed to the side, man. You cannot have all those guys, especially Uncle Al, and not have some sort of investment advice in the back and say, look, Floyd, you got to put some of this way out the route to the tax man. Put it in the Virgin Islands, for example, like Barry Hearn does. You know, so allegedly.
My brother, you have got to diversify.
He was on a lot of Virgin Islands, him money, so to say.
Allegedly.
Thomas Newman says Logan got a free conservatory and 16 Conor Ben NFTs.
Conor Ben NFTs hit the fucking skids, man, like the fucking egg.
Floyd is deep in the metaverse and he's not coming back. Oh man, he's class, isn't he, Mayweather? Oh,
no.
Anyway.
No one marries, no. The thing is,
he's an absolute shithead, and I think it's one of them ones, isn't it? Like, where it's hard to say. It's like him and like their personas. It's so hard to separate the two, because Floyd is one of the best fighters I've ever seen, but he's not TBE. Like, let's fucking get that clear. Like, that was another one that he manufactured for himself as the best ever. Yeah. Like, just off the top of the head, he would have had trouble with Hearns, Leonard, Aaron Pryor, fucking Terry Norris at 54, any fucking
Duran,
Pernell Whitaker, fucking Duran. All these guys would have fucking been talking to him, and he might have been the favorite in all those fights. So he's a marketer that's fucking running out of time. Like, isn't he? Sorry, dude.
See, if there's one fighter that I wouldn't be expecting to be, you talk about Pacquiao, for example, and like, you expect him to be fucking broke because he's in politics and that. I mean, bribes he would need to pay and shit that he's fucking pay up, because he's paying communities not trying to build hospitals and stuff.
And so he doesn't get executed for using A-side meth.
Yeah, well, that as well. But Floyd, man, Floyd's not going to fucking pay bribes and stuff like that, man. He just thinks it's fucking great to jump on a fucking private plane. Or, you know what, I'll fly off to fucking Switzerland, have one of those suave fucking meals that you like. Or, by the way, I'll fly to London in 6 hours, but I'll have breakfast there in the morning. Well, fuck, how much is that? I was listening to Shannon Sharp interview about 6 months ago, ex-NFL player, and he was flying somewhere I think he was flying from LA to Colorado to see Deion Sanders, his son's team player, or Deion Sanders, whatever it was. And he says the price of a private plane for that weekend for a day was $30,000 fucking dollars. That wasn't even including the fucking food. $30,000 just for the fucking plane. This fucking guy's flying from America to fucking Central Europe and back again.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think. He's made an astonishing amount of money, but his lifestyle is fucking like
exactly.
He wasted a lot of cars he has.
He's no an oligarch.
If you have $100 million invested properly, you could have made that $30,000 in a day by not doing a fucking thing, though.
He's no fucking Herbert.
But something tells me I don't think he has made those smart investments that he keeps telling us that he's made.
You might be right, but there is also that edge of sometimes people who grow up poor never stop working because no matter how much money they have, they're always afraid of becoming poor again.
True. I mean, yeah, but he's hawking any old shit. I don't know. Like, maybe there's truth to these rumors out in Dubai. I don't know. There's a great bunch of lads out there, so maybe they're not letting him leave.
But they're not like
Who
quality
knows?
commercials, Rob. It's like if he can get in front of his fucking his webcam.
That's what I'm saying. It looks
Yeah,
like you can get him for a meal and a hot shower. So how much money has he got? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like someone like they're probably paying like 10K, and they're like 10K, and it's gonna take me 5 minutes. Read this, like fucking easy
You
money.
can't even read though, mate.
But
That's the
that
problem.
record though that he built so much, he just hoards it out. Like on one advert, he's like, "I'm 50-0, the greatest record of all time." And let me tell you, it's equal to the greatest blackjack company of all time.
Yeah.
And like Rob
Like-
said, it's like the shittest thing you've ever seen in your life.
He ad-libs the fucking the script. They give him a script to read, like say I mentioned this. He just looks at it, gets the keywords out of it, talks about himself for 30 seconds, and then nobody knows what the fuck is going on, how you buy the product, nothing. Like it's just fucking madman, man. But he's a sad little man. Like he's a sad little man for a guy who was incredible. He's sad, bitter, and his trouble with Gervonta started when Gervonta started to eclipse his star or go towards it. Like when he's the new guy on
He
the block.
always does that. He builds you up, and then as soon as you're getting too close, he smashes you down.
Yeah, the Canelo thing, he can't have, he's bitter towards Canelo's star in the sport. He's bitter towards everybody else's star in the sport. He doesn't believe anybody else is a pay-per-view star. Let's not forget, he had the fucking biggest dance partner of all time to pump his fucking pay-per-view numbers up in the first instance in De La Hoya. Like, now he had to go and beat De La Hoya, obviously, but a great fighter. Can't take anything away from him in the ring, but I can take everything away from outside the ring because he's a piece of shit, isn't he? Like, he's fucking terrible.
I've seen. There was a video. Somebody posted a video on Twitter last night, and it was weird watching it. So you got Floyd Mayweather, Antonio Brown, and who's that fucking weirdo? Is it Kanye West? Oh, this fucking supposed party. I swear to God, man, there was more fucking spirits at a fucking seance session in this fucking party. By every
Imagine being at a
sitting there
fucking party
stoic
with
as
fucking
fuck.
the two of them, with Floyd Mayweather and Kanye West talking about trying to outdo each other to fucking talk about themselves more. Like
They're literally sat there, no talking to anybody. Just sat there like doing nothing. There's no music going on, or maybe a bit of music, but no talking, no drugs, no alcohol. You know, like what vibe are we getting here, man?
Sounds like the Boxing Asylum live.
For some reason, if I remember right, I think Antonio Brown is the one who on a kickoff return, straight up kicked
Retired
one
at
of the
halftime.
opposing players in the face on the return, just fucking running kicked him right in the fucking helmet. That was great.
Anyway, from one great to another, let's move on to the next one. Richard Riakpo. Interesting decision from Boxer to pass Riakpo off as a Palace fan, isn't it? Says A Tockers. So he's fighting in Selhurst Park, lifelong Palace fan, apart from when he wasn't in this one. And then again here, I'm Millwall, he says. Hashtag Millwall, hashtag football, hashtag London, hashtag terrorism, hashtag end terrorism. There you go.
Okay, hell.
Bannersfield there.
I'll end it on this point. One the hammers.
He's only a polar hammer.
He's Millwall. Through and through. And moving
I
on
can
here.
sort of go off a tangent here, but Ray Wilkins, great gentleman, right? I remember Ray Wilkins was at Millwall for a wee bit, and we're going through a bad patch at this point. So anyway, Ray tries to face up the angry hordes of Millwall fans. But it's been ex-Chelsea is possibly not even his wisest move. Right? So anyway, Ray, being the gentleman that he is, tries to explain the situation as a gentleman tries to do, right? And when does he get back off this thick-ended Millwall prick by saying, "You're fucking Chelsea, mate. You get to fuck." I'm like, there's no point reasoning with that guy then, mate. Just fuck off. Fucking...
Good old Ray. He tried his best.
What a goal he scored against Celtic, Robbie.
Sugar Ray Wilkins.
Bastard, mate. Tall
Sugar Ray
fucking
Wilkins.
pins, mate.
I'm living in the past, baby. I'm living in the now.
Right up to the present here, boys. Pope
There you go.
Francis.
Good. There's a
messes
good
the Fury Usyk belt. Yes, you read that correctly.
Look at that. You got a shit. Look at they cunts sitting there, man.
You guys might not be aware, but Pope Francis has a deep boxing history, and he was a defensive genius known for his move on the rope known as the Pope-a-dope.
What was it, Michael Thompson? Come on.
Swinging for the rafters, was he? Eh?
Oh, what? Maybe he's in the chat. He put a funny one in the nutters, but yeah, there you go. Mauricio, he's shameless today.
He's getting the SPL title there in 4 weeks as well, Andy.
Really good, man. I mean, what?
We're bringing an evangelical and an Orthodox fighter to A Muslim country with this belt blessed by the Pope. This is peace.
The People's champion, that was it.
Now we're going to sing We Are the World and hold hands.
By the way, you got 2 Christian countries' flags on the fucking belt at the same time. Addy move, man. That's what I'm fucking talking about.
Oh, dear. There you go. Good on me.
That isn't it. Oh, stay that belt, man. Fucking Christ. In the bin and set fire to that crap.
He loves the belt, doesn't he, Mauricio, man?
I mean, he needs to do what The Rock did at WrestleMania, mate, right? Somebody needs to take that belt off and whip his fucking ass with it. That's what he needs to fucking do, man. I'm sick of this shite, man, with these fucking belts.
The Pope's saying to him, Matty, I thought you were doing away with interim champions.
See, you love if that was King Charles knighting that belt to us.
What the fuck, man? You can punch Charles. Hold that belt because he's fucking fat, swish his fingers, man. That fucking idiot.
I think I look at the
There's
Pope
a song by
myself,
it goes like this, and the Pope says no. That's what you should say. The Pope says no to that fucking belt, by the way.
I think that when I look at the Pope there sitting on the chair and think of our Lord, I think he would love his representative on earth to be sitting there with $500,000 worth of a chain around his neck when people are starving. It's a good example, that guy. We should trust him.
There's about another fucking 100 millions of fucking protect. I'm going to say it. Fuck it.
We'll move on to Captain Casual. Box Nation, the Pope to Box Nation. Captain Casual was celebrating Ryan Deal. He says on the Box Nation chat on Friday night, he says, rumour has it everyone at the fight tonight is invited onto the 2 a.m. ferry for the after party over in Belfast, where apparently Malik Scott is taking on David Hay in an exhibition bout at the Devonish.
Polly, we're going to that one, then, eh?
Jamie Carragher at the front door. What do you think?
Somebody next time they have one of those post-fight casts, that someone ought to go with another super chat and say, "Did you Google Devonish, Polly?"
Yeah, exactly.
Jamie Carragher talking with his hands. Saying you have Jamie Carragher fucking doing in the bottom of the picture doing sign language with his hands, not he talks with his hands all the time. There, fucking idiot.
Box Nation
spitting at
was
something
back.
else this time.
Yeah,
Box
you see
Nation
what
was
happens
back.
when you stop spitting rhymes, Rob.
Apparently, the Box Nation was only 480p. Apparently, Rob. In definition, they were saying that's the highest you could get. It's like the old days, man.
The subscription was more than that.
MB was in the chat as well. He said thanks to His Excellency Umar, IFL Umar, for bringing back Box Nation.
Charlie Parsons as well, doing all that hard work in the background for years. How Charlie beated the beat, mate, like Steve Bunsen yourself, Steve, putting in the hard yards, and then suddenly, mate, he's got a successful YouTube channel within 2 weeks of launching, getting all the big access interviews. And that. What a fucking life that man's done.
Oh dear. What else have we got here? David Hay. David Hay once compared his sexual appetite to a lion that's going to bang you and eat you. So his online dating profile was never going to be littered with Shakespeare sonnets and pictures of him cradling puppies. The retired world champ and his girlfriend Sean have turned to dating app Raya to fill the rotating slot.
You just know that the old David Hay has allegedly sent the old meat monster on the fucking WhatsApp messages and that,
I just David Hay does things the reverse that I do him. I usually eat them and then bang them because I don't want to clean up my own load.
I thought he was going to say kill them and then bang them. I'm glad he fucking went that way.
This is the one that gotta go in college, man.
Oh, that was too dark. No,
or Matt, you could always toss a salad and get into the fucking front of it, you know.
Yeah, some people do it with jelly, some people do it with syrup. I have syrup.
Spit on it, mate.
Ryan Deal jumped in here with the $5 New Zealand super chat. He says, Big props to Malik Scott for committing to donate 20% of his purse for the Kovnacki fight to the Kate Abdo Wheelchair Foundation. Stand up, guy.
Well, at least one of them can stand up, I suppose.
Please.
That was a great joke, but the audience for that joke is very narrow.
Yes.
Literally this podcast.
Yeah, but basically, mate, you didn't want to put me front and center for the comments on this one, like, because I've got. Oh, mate, I could go to town here.
Oh dear, mate. What else have we got here? Barry was kicking off about Ryan Garcia Haney. He said, secondly, $1.5 million is a lot of money to lose from your purse, Larry. I don't know what Garcia's purse was, but surely $1.5 million is a huge chunk of it.
I
And
don't,
now you can see Frampton's response for yourself.
I don't know what Garcia's purse was, but I like a good look around inside it just to see if I can fucking find anything. He says.
Oh dear me. Very good. What else have we got here? Let's have a quick look.
No, what else is cracking up about it? Claymaker. Don't mad he is.
He's back.
There, eh?
Oh dear. The Dr. Joseph was tweeting beforehand. He said, please, pray emoji, do not bet on Ryan Garcia because Devin Haney will stop him before the championship round. Okay? They are betting advice from the doctor.
Dr. Joe, what's wrong with you making predictions like that? Eat fucking humble pie, you fucking idiot. What are you doing?
He's just as dumb as the rest of us.
Armchair psychiatrist Dr. Joseph Mateo there. Fuck's sake. Armchair Dr. Joe.
You didn't know that Garcia was eating his okra, motherfucker. How you like that?
Oh dear. Let's have a look, see if we can find. Where is he? The Phantom of the Okra. There we are.
That shit looks nasty, man, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like you have a bad infection or something like that. Ah, fucking look at that.
That would get you regular, Andy.
Get you regular, mate. It would get you a fucking hospital checkup and fucking rapid time as well.
Get you up and at him. That's what it gets you.
Fuck. Yeah. Mate, you wouldn't even get taken into fucking. You'd be taken straight to the ICU after fucking eating that shit.
Clear out.
Oh, exactly, mate. Clear the pipes out of me. Bay fence.
Yeah, you think about okra though. With okra, you got to cook it right, otherwise it's slimier than David Hayes' bed after.
The old snail trail. I can remember a fucking stripper by doing it on stage once with the fucking sliding off stage, man, to get to the carpet.
Aim says they get you up for the Andy Ruiz fight. You'll be on the loo.
So Haymaker's really out like on an app like Tinder for troubles, basically looking fucking to recruit. He's recruiting online. Star power is not enough. That's sensational fucking dedication to the lifestyle, in fairness to him.
Yeah,
I bet he's made a chick squirt so hard she hit the ceiling fan.
Good lord. You're like your man last week, fucking wondering who's fucking more appealing, fucking Anthony Joshua or Ryan Garcia.
Elusive Matt.
Elusive Matty.
Ain't nothing elusive about me. You want some, you come get some.
Matty, do you know how to make your missus hit the ceiling when you're having sex with her?
No.
No. Wipe your dick when you're finished on the curtains, mate.
Fuck's sake.
Poor Steve, man. Poor Steve.
Quick, a bit of Frank Smith. That's all I can say for us now.
I'm never going to be Eddie Hearn. That is the reality. You cannot beat Eddie Hearn at what he does. There is only one Eddie Hearn. Don't want to be Eddie Hearn. Not in a bad way. I love him. Great. My mate, long term, like a brother to me. But I'm my own person. I get compared to him, but it's learning on the job, and it's hopefully getting better. Jealous? Yeah. Never. Honestly, I'm happy for people who do well. I couldn't be jealous of Ben Shalom. Like, I've done my own, I'm not bragging, but I've done my own thing. I don't own the company, but I'm very involved and I have a good, I have a good part of it. I'm not going to go into I'm involved. The success of the business, I succeed from. And I don't take orders from Eddie Hearn, not trying to be, I don't take all Eddie Hearn, Ben Shalom doesn't get on his radar.
You've got to chill out, yeah? Trust me, this is what I do. Alright? You will never work in a place like this again. This is brilliant. Fact. Yeah? And you'll never have another boss like me, someone who's basically a chilled out entertainer. Yeah? Now
he's doing a great impression of somebody who doesn't want to be Eddie Hearn by speaking exactly like Eddie Hearn down to the cadence. He sounds like somebody doing an impression of Eddie Hearn. What the fuck is he talking about? Like fucking jealous, Ben Shalom. Like that could have been Eddie's. That's out of the Eddie playbook, isn't it? Even the way he speaks is fucking Eddie-esque. Like with they're good mates.
Eddie Hearn, yet we've seen videos of him getting fucking bashed about by Eddie with fucking boxing gloves on. So you do what you're told. You little tea
carrying
boy.
the tea tray into the fucking.
Exactly, you go and get me a fucking hobnob as well, you fucking.
Oh dear.
A chocolate one as well, when you think about it. They're like the fucking oat ones. I want the chocolate
Are
hobnob.
those new milk chocolate? What? No, white chocolate ones. Andy?
No,
Which
no, I don't. No,
not for
mate.
you?
That's poverty stuff
No,
for me, mate.
no.
Go with the milk chocolate, hobnobs. Anything else than that is poverty for me, mate.
What?
Don't know, man. They're about £1.65 a packet. You know.
These are not like Twinkie bars for you, mate.
Oh, I like Twinkies.
Yeah, these are Twinkie bars are like the kind of like mace and syrup with fucking cream inside it. Heart attack stuff, mate.
American chocolate's very sweet, isn't it? I think.
Ah, it is, mate.
Sugar in the tank over there.
Corn syrup. Corn syrup in the tank.
I can remember Jeremy Clarkson buying a sandwich the other day. He was complaining about it on television, saying it's got artificial cheese.
What the fuck's artificial cheese?
Fucking no idea, mate. But if I read that, I'd be right in the fucking bin straight away.
I don't want to start Matty on artificial cheese the way he's going tonight. Let's just move on, shall we?
The farm one's getting bought by the Chinese at the end of the day, so they've all got themselves to blame, you know. Hey, Matty.
As he calls it, artificial cheese is just American cheese, and it's a good cheese because it melts without cracking. It's perfect for hamburgers.
3D printer ham.
Ham.
Right. Anyway, any nominations, Matty?
No. Now you've got me thinking about ham.
Oh, okay, there you go. Andy, what about you? Nominations, not ham.
One for Oscar, mate. I think he's kind of like raised up against His Excellency coming into America here, especially in the Oscars territory. He's going into Twitter there, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, saying, "No promoters coming to my territory think you can take over my sport. This is war. This is aimed towards a person who doesn't know shit about boxing." So Oscar putting His Excellency on notice there, mate. So one for Uncle Oscar.
Okay, another nomination for Oscar. We have in most weeks. Rob, anything from you other than the Floyd Javonta shenanigans?
It's King Ryan's world, and we're just living in it. Have you seen the flick of him going around with his new wife?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Ricky Gravel got back onto me on Twitter and said you were right about Ebony Bridges. So fucking right it was. Nick her. Who does he think she is? Like, fucking going to get a crack at Ryan Garcia. Levels to this game, baby. Ryan released a freestyle rap as well, where he said he was smoking on a Haney pack, and he had some fucking jaw dropping bombs in there, where one of the lines was, "I did good," so that was good. Smoking on a Haney pack. He also did a bit of shadow boxing for Trump. And endorsed Trump for 2024. Yeah. And he did the sound effects and all that. Donald Trump 2024.
What a fucking
great fighter. Guy's a great fighter, King Ryan. So fucking yeah, he got busy
Trump
this
in the
week.
day, Rob, wasn't he? Remember the old Atlantic?
Yeah, of course he was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was at all the big fights. You
Yeah,
see his fucking wig. If you go back to any HBO fucking legendary night, you'll see Trump's barned in the ringside there. Rye definitely made the bet. Rye, I say now because I'm fucking. I always knew he was going to do it. Not like the rest of the amateur psychologists on here. But King Rye made the most of his fucking publicity train. He's been on everything, man, this week. He's fucking like prime Tony Bellew. He's everywhere, and he turned up somewhere saying that he was wanting to fight Errol Spence as well because Errol Spence is suing Derek James or counter suing Derek James. So he wants to fight Errol Spence, and then he said he's going up to heavyweight to knock out AJ. Who's going to talk shit then? So we're looking forward to that one. I think that's it. Yeah, the Javante fucking Shakur got his little face in there as well in the middle of it, and he just released a fucking kind of weird video with his top off saying, calling out Tank essentially. Like, I won't fucking waste time talking about it, but yeah, Bill Haney's Salt Shaker one was pretty good. I like that one.
Okie doke. Let's go through them very quickly, then we shall make our picks. So the Floyd versus Tank, and I suppose Floyd versus Bill Haney as well. You can throw that in. Floyd all round, I would say, getting in the Middle East. He's taken to the Middle East and he's not getting out. And the boxer shenanigans were also nominated. We had the Pope blessing the belt there, Mauricio Suleiman. We had Captain Casual Damo and MB getting stuck into the chat. Paulie as well getting nominated, lured in by Ryan Deal. It's happened to many of them. David Hay putting up his various things he likes, his tastes on Raya, apparently. Rotating slot is available. Who knows? Anyone can get it.
Wonder what his son thinks about his dad going on a dating apps looking for his soul, man, eh?
And then posting about it on
exactly, man. I mean,
Instagram or
fucking
whatever.
the guy's our age, right? And his son's almost. His son must be a teenager now, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking hell, Dad, get a grip of yourself.
Are they able to get the profiles like that and just post them, are they? Hope nobody fucking. Hope none of the listeners see my one. think Haymaker's Patters. Think Haymaker's Patters raw. You know what I mean? I'm going to do something till you love me. That's what it says on mine.
Eh?
You've been sending all top picks as well, Rob?
One-sided pattern.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever he wants.
Whatever you want, just get the job closed. You know what I mean? Deal sealed.
What do you guys
I
call
just sent pictures of me in front of double glazed windows with an 0800 number under it to fucking show that I'm balling. Do you know what I mean?
What do you call dick pics over there? Shillelagh snaps?
Not dick pics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Passing his meat about.
Frampton got nominated as well. Dr. Joseph with his betting advice, and also Frank Smith for Value of the Week at the end there with his little David Brent sequence. Who are you going for this week, Matty?
Oh, I've got to go for the Pope. When are we going to get this chance again? I got to go for the Pope.
You know,
Pope for Value of the Week?
Rob, I was going to say that, but I had to bite my tongue because I go.
For Sinead
O'Connor! What would Father Dave say, man? Okay, the Pope.
Christ,
he's Anglican, isn't he? Would he give a fuck?
Yeah, well, I suppose, yeah. I don't know. He's busy. He's Father Dave. Andy, who you go for this week?
It wasn't the Oscar I was going to go for. What was the other one, mate? David Hay. That's who it is.
What does he say on the profile? What did it say there?
He says, I'm a selfish prick. Nothing is ever good enough. I always want more and rarely satisfied. I've got many deep-rooted, complex demons eating me up from the inside, manifesting in disgustingly shocking acts of, let's not tell you everything, and spoil surprise.
You know what I'm telling you? You know what that strikes me, by the way? Come on. You didn't want me to say it. But you know,
need to get Peter Hyde involved here. If we ever needed him, now's when we need him.
I mean, dude, it's getting into warped fucking territory, man. The guy's had a taste of the thruple. Now he wants to fucking go like fucking. I don't know.
He's
he's going to start a compound, isn't he? Hey, he's going to read about this for about 6 months.
He's going to go all David Koresh.
Yeah, he's going to full Jim Jones. He's just going to start wearing fucking white garments and just fucking have an old compound of fucking. A pride of lions.
I say let him be until he claims he's Jesus.
No, he needs to go full Muslim and fucking marry 7 different women and get all the different babies and that with him, man.
He's loving life, man. He's enjoying himself out there.
But his son needs to get a grip of his father and fucking his dad. Come on, you're fucking 44-year-old, right? Get off the fucking Viagra, right? And become a girl. Come on, get yourself straightened out. You ain't up in fucking sick addiction clinics, man. You can't keep going like this.
Why do you want everyone to be as miserable as you?
You can keep going like it, all right. That's all you know. You keep going, all right. Don't mind him, Haymaker. Keep fucking going, man. Keep punching.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going for the Haymaker then, Andy?
I'm going for the Haymaker, mate. The Haymaker with the STD maker.
Oh, lovely. Rob?
I don't want to fucking throw the Haymaker under the bus for that. Like, that's to be commended. Like, he's fucking, he's doing the graft as well.
No, but mate,
listen, haters.
There was no, but I think at one point he was like the demigod. He had the women there, but now he's on fucking this dating app begging for more because
cruising.
You know what I'm saying? He's
not
basically on
begging
the
for
cusp.
more. He's auditioning new applicants.
Mate, he's on the cusp of sending.
You have to have interns as well, though. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If he's trying to run a successful company, he has to have interns. You know what I mean? Work the way to the top.
How does she fit within the organization? That's what we want to learn.
But the Haymaker's on the cusp of sending his Tadger pics out on social media to try and get what he needs, mate. This is becoming warped behaviour. This is coming like Vince McMahon territory just about here, I would imagine.
Fuck.
As long as we don't hear about him raping anybody, I don't care.
Haymaker.
The consensual is like the line is consensual. Everything that is consensual and everyone's adults. Who fucking cares?
Danny Young's following the lineage here. He's looking for the lineal ruler.
What I would say is that an opportunistic person may be able to fucking develop a story and then use that paragraph as the conclusion later down the line. So you got to be careful exactly what he's putting out there in the public.
And that's the thing as well, mate. He's going to have to watch because a split Johnny, for example, a wee spillage. And you got another bun in the oven, mate. You got fucking alimony to pay, mate. And that alimony pony ain't cheap.
Alim Cannoli.
Oh, he's probably has a closet in his house dedicated to the day after pill.
Fucking hell.
It's when you see him in the cold light of day, Steve, they're different sometimes, aren't they? Like, it's good in the moment sometimes. When you take a step back, it's fucking...
Oh, dear. It seems like such a tame question, Bob. Who are you going for?
Look at Beat Bob Boop's question, mate. Put that one up for the... Fucking put that one up. We'll get like wizard
like
here.
Patrick Bateman style when he's nailing that chick, flexing, looking in the mirror.
Read that out, Steve.
Read that
question. Read that question.
You think the haymaker wanks in the mirror?
Of course he does. You probably Paul's face and everything, by the way.
Are we jumping here or are we getting pushed?
I think I can't go for the Pope, can I? Like in all good faith, I can't go for the Pope. So maybe the haymaker unanimous decision.
You shite house because you didn't even fucking follow the faith anymore, man. You're lapsed Catholic, so fucking you can't fucking vote for your fucking papa like that.
Yeah, but I can always the good thing about being a lapsed Catholic is you could just always say confess at the last minute, go, oh jeez, sorry, I didn't mean it. We get a clean slate.
Of course,
so
you've always got that fucking that get out clause.
In the back pocket, man.
Oh, don't worry, my son. We won't forgive you. Don't worry. Just
forgives all sins.
You go past there. Fucking hell.
Oh dear me. Right, so who are we going for again? Should we just give it to the haymaker? I think
we got two for the Pope. We've got two for the Pope and one for Hay.
Come on, Steve.
Perfect trouble.
I can't go for the Pope, man. I'm afraid of
you're in Northern Ireland. I'm fine.
Scared than Rob.
Too many loyalists about Steve's area, man. You make you fucking take it by a sniper or something like that. The homage of Billy, right? Make you fucking haunt him.
No, I'll go for haymaker. I think
it's
he
a draw.
He's put in the hard draw. Yeah, 2 for him, 2 for the
Pope. The loyalists up there will be telling Steve the famine is over. Why don't you go home?
Well, I'll tell you what. If Steve...
That's what my missus says to me.
To be fair, actually, if Steve was back home last week and he's like, nah, I'll go back to Ireland for the rest of the immigrants. I'm going back to stay with the Africans. Fuck this shit.
Right. 2. Yeah, I think they're both doing the Lord's work. We'll give it a draw. David Hay and
David Hay equal with the Pope. What a way to cap it off.
One more place in that trouble up for grabs. Who do you put in there? David Hay and the Pope. Yeah.
Matthew de Chippendale. There you are. Shout out to David Hay and the Pope.
Polly, honorary mention as well for getting chipped in by Ryan.
Yeah, coming to the Devonish.
Because it was Ryan Deal. This guy's talking about the Devonish. He's obviously been to the Devonish, guys. It's obvious. It's clear. This guy's been to the Devonish.
He might be corrupt, you know. He might be corrupt. You never know.
Ryan, if you ever run into Polly, just tell him that you're Ryan Deal 3.
There's the boys. Shout out to them as well. Congratulations. You're the joint 3 times Belly threesome Belly of the Week. Episode 570. Oh, congratulations, everybody. There was a super chat coming. Oh, that was Beatbot Boot, wasn't it?
Give him a shout out. I was asking if the Yankee make a wank
in
the mirror.
That was Beatbot Boop.
You ever tried that before, by the way?
There's my deal as well.
The mirror makes it look enormous.
Shout to Declan Graffin. Take aims as well.
Do it in the mirror, Andy, and Bulldog just pop up behind you. Like Candyman.
You say Bulldog 3 times.
fucking Bulldog, man. Turns up with a fucking yard arm and fucking tiring him about his tadger, man. Fucking Jesus, man. I always say that the veins is like that, man.
What's the next rating after E for explicit, Matty? What you
B for banned.
This is gonna fucking go missing like that fucking MUTV fucking interview with Roy Keane in it. It's gonna go on a bit this one.
It's going that way. Oh dear. Oh, where's the other super chatter? Who was it? Oh yeah, it was Ricky Graville. Oh dear.
Steve, I hate to segue this way, but you're sure you want to leave all this behind?
Fuck me, man. I don't know what to say.
We wish him well.
You lot, great bunch of lads.
Steve's gonna look at this shit, man.
Oh man, no, it's been a good laugh. It's been a good laugh. This episode and many episodes before, but yes, I suppose we need to get to it. We need to get to the important news, the announcement, no less, Matty, that Wellington is going to have to pass the baton on and exit the hot seat after 10 years. Is it 10? Nearly 10 years? 500 episodes. It's a sad time, Matty, but you're going to have to take the hot seat, the red hot seat, and take this on, unfortunately. So I bestow it upon you with it like a papal greeting to you.
Stevie, you're not as sentimental as I thought you would be, so I guess that leaves it in my hands for the sentimental aspect, you bastard. Why do I always have to do this? What you've done with this show since its earlier incarnations, first with me, and then when they juggled around with hosts after that, Andy learned it's one of the more difficult things to do. You've turned this from a simple show that was part of an internet messaging board, and you've turned Boxing Asylum into a brand. We have people in our Patreon group, not just from the UK, but from Canada, the United States, an Armenian who moved to Colombia. We had a gentleman in Nepal.
What was he up to?
We have Aussies. We got Ryan from New Zealand.
Matty's wanting that fucking. He's wanting that PayPal fucking password. That's what he's wanting. PayPal.
Even in its small footprint, you turn this into a global brand, and it's absolutely incredible. And I think you need to be very, very proud of what you have accomplished with the Boxing Asylum over these years. And I know when I came back into it, I was in a super funk post-COVID. Everything had fallen apart. And getting together with you guys just to bullshit boxing every Sunday was something to look forward to. And I will never be able to repay you for playing a big part in getting me out of a place that I did not like being. And we're going to keep this going. We might make some changes here and there, but honestly, I love you guys to death. You are some of my favorite people, and I love the listeners. And Steve, I am so proud of you for what you're able to do, turning this into a career. You are able to take this sport that we love and turn it into a way to support your family. And it is amazing. And I can't wait for what you're going to bring to Boxing News. I'm just stoked for you.
Oh, thanks very much, Matty. Those are really kind words, and you summed it up a lot better than I could. Des has thrown in money there. He didn't have to, boys. Michael Thompson's thrown in money. David Palmer as well. Yeah, so I'm off to work for Boxing News full time. I will no longer be hosting, but when time permits, I'll still be jumping on as and when, hopefully adding voices. If you guys as well, listeners, want to jump on and help the lads out, Matty's going to keep it going. There's obviously going to be some changes. But we've tried hard, man. We have tried. People have come and gone over the years, and we've tried our best to keep it going. And it's become. You mentioned the other day, Andy, actually, man, about like COVID. We were like making up fights and stuff, weren't we? Like, remember, like sort of fantasy fights and stuff, just to keep it going.
Keep it going.
Messages we were getting through from people. It wasn't even just about having a laugh. It was like sort of keeping people sane. The impact that this show has had is amazing. And thanks to everybody standing on the shoulders of the giants. I'll just say before I forget, there's a lot of people come before me, and I have to thank them as well. I know that things haven't always been pleasant, but there's a lot of good people been involved in the podcast over the years.
Yeah, without doubt, mate. Firstly, obviously, congratulations. I say to you privately, I'll say to you publicly in that as well. I'll not say what I don't say to you publicly when you say it to your face and that as well, mate. So congratulations to you, everything you've managed to achieve for many weeks at least. And that sometimes it just felt like it was me and you here. Believe it or not, I mean, how often did we sit here, mate?
Fired.
No, not so much fired, but seriously, no. Let's be serious for a minute here, because obviously it's a big change, and 5 to 8 some nights it would be me and Steve sat here like, fucking hell, dude, we got to try and get through this. And somehow all the guys would pull in for like a half hour here, and Rob would come in for the last hour there, that type of stuff and that. And we always somehow pulled out a 2 hour show plus for the last 10 years. And we've done more and above that. I've worked with Steve on the Patreon shows. We have researched shit, fights that people have never watched. We try to bring back to life and that. You'll be a big miss, mate. You really will. You'll be hard to look. you'll be hard to replace. In fact, I said to Rob privately in that as well, and I'll say it to you publicly. In fact, we'll only replace you. That will be that simple.
Irreplaceable, without a doubt.
It's that simple, mate. Anyway, all the best to you and your family, mate. You deserve a bit of a break after everything that's happened and all that, mate. I ain't going to get into it, but anyway, you've got a chance to earn some money for the sport that's kicked us on the ass for the years and decades, mate. So fucking fair play to you. Dig it out, mate. Keep fucking grinding.
Tell Eddie we said hi.
Yeah.
Tell Eddie that Andy says he's still a wanker.
I'd just like to follow that on as well. Like and say, like the pod's been fucking amazing to be part of, and Wellington's probably the biggest part of it. Wellington and Andy as well, obviously. But since he came up, since I've been on it like 6 years, the majority of the time with the two boys and Smitho, Ozzy, Tommy at the time, whoever was in and out. But lads gave me a chance to come on one week, and then the next week I was asked to kind of, did I want to jump on regular, and I jumped at the chance because I used to always listen to it. But Wellings is one of my favourite fucking guys in the world, man. He's one of the best fucking guys to know outside of this pod and to be on the pod with. And I'd second out with Andy. He's irreplaceable. His wit and quips are fucking understated, and sometimes he even just mumbles them like off the cuff. And I swear he has me dying. You miss him, and you have him dying during the week. He's one of the funniest bastards going, and wish you all the best, dude. One of the great lads in the sport. And it's great to see you get this opportunity, and you're going to work for a great bunch of lads as well. Well, not that great bunch of lads, but a great bunch of lads.
Not yet.
One thing I want to finish off on, because obviously you mentioned COVID there. It was a COVID era that really hit home for sometimes what we do in terms of for some people listening in. Now, everybody who listens in have obviously got issues now, but some people have. We've all had issues now in the past, family, fucking mental issues, whatever that. Anyway, some people have got in touch, thanking us for what we did, mate. And this is you being a large part of that. And again, you've got Kurt, you've had Tommy, you've had all the guys in the past, not some of the Americans who come and went. Alex, Dave the Hater, who got in touch. He nearly got Dave the Hater, total casual. Didn't even
Captain Current Affairs there.
Didn't even know about the Haney result until today, actually. So shout out to Donnie doing his pit. Alistair in the past, that people have come and gone, mate.
Yeah.
But we've had quite a few that have stood the test of time, and you've been part of that, mate. So.
Yeah, it's my time now, and I do appreciate the boys and the listeners and what we've managed to grow it into. And I think it was around the Frampton Kiko Martinez fight, 2014, and the Titanic was the first time I came on. So just short of 10 years. You know, I have tried, I've tried over the time, man. Like 500 odd episodes, as Andy says, the live pods, the post-fight pods, the punches from the past, trying to keep it going. We've done our best. And it wouldn't be the same without the panel members, the listeners, the people turning up, supporting us. The amount of messages has just been amazing. So it has become like a big part of people's lives and stuff. And I am sorry to be sort of stepping down from hosting at least. But, you know, I will lend my voice and come back on, whenever I can. And hopefully, because it is great crack and all. And just to finish off, Danny Young said it better than I ever could. He says, while Steve giving this farewell message, I'm wanking in the mirror. So I thought that sums it up.
Yeah, better sign off, mate. Just fuck off now, all right? You should put your say down. Oh, Lordy.
I know, it's down to me. It's down to me, I suppose, to press the outro, isn't it, rather than sitting here? Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Yes, Matty will be back.
10 bell salute, mate. Give me 10 bell salute in the way out the fucking
10
door.
bell salute, exactly. Let me see if I've got anything that I can play. Maybe. That's the best I can do.
No porn star music.
Feeding the ducks. No, Matty will be in the red hot seat next week. I will be on for the last time for now. But like I said, I won't be hosting anymore. But Matty will. Matty knows what he's doing. Matty's the original host. You were the very first episode, Matty, weren't you, all them years ago? So you know what you're doing by now.
It's been a long time. Again, I was young and excited and enthusiastic then, and now I'm just kind of old and decrepit.
No better place to finish it. Thanks to everybody who's been on tonight and through the past years, especially Rapping Rob Kelly, Andy Patterson and Matty D. Gialinardo. I've been Steve Wellings, and we'll catch you all again. Same time, same place next week, and bye for now.
We'll never forget.
I think that's good happening.
Go to move!
We want to be honest, yeah?
Crying like a little bitch. I've never met a fucking swank that can fight me.
I fell asleep.
You're a fucking bum, you're a fucking asshole.
Rumpo fucking Stiltskin.
But allegedly, Oscar Rivas has failed a test.
7-year aim. 7-year ain't it? I will fucking smash fucking you.
I hope you fucking die.
Be safe.
I love boxing silence. As simple as that.